All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to talk about the first round of the tournament. Put out the updated notes earlier. Hopefully, you got that link. It's also in the description of this video on the Patreon page. And I'm still sticking with my top narrative Gonzaga over Illinois. The riddle for the perfect season's there. We said some weeks back it looked very possible that Gonzaga would have the perfect season. So, again, one more time just to make sure everybody knows this. If Gonzaga wins the tournament, they will go 32-0. No team has done that since 1976, and it was Indiana that did it with Bobby Knight. And of course, the entire tournament this year is in Indiana. And the last time it happened was 45 years ago, like how the championship's on April 5th, 4-5. Make sure my sound's coming through. It looks like we're good. Remember, Illinois equals 45 in Gematria like ritual. And if Illinois makes it to the championship game, they'll have 45 wins all time in the tournament. And if they lost to Gonzaga in the championship, they'd pick up their 32nd loss all time in the tournament as Gonzaga went 32-0. It's also going to be Illinois' 32nd year in the tournament period. And again, the last time it happened was 45 years ago. Ritual 45, Illinois 45. Now, with regards to Bobby Knight being the last coach to have the perfect season, the championship's on his 163rd day of his age, and in the most simple cipher, Gonzaga Bulldogs is 163, and that's the cipher you want to see it in because a lot of times the rituals are right there. Remember, we just documented with Brady. At age 43, GOAT 43, he played in the Super Bowl 100. I'm missing something. Greatest. Brady played in the Super Bowl 188 days after his 43rd birthday. Greatest of all time, 188. Stands for GOAT, 43. So on that same cipher, that's where you have Gonzaga Bulldogs. And just think about how perfect that is. I mean, it's amazing that it even... it is amazing how they do this stuff. Also, if Mark Few does have a perfect season, he will get his 37th win in tournament history. And in the most pure cipher, perfect's 37, but in the most simple cipher, it's 73, which is the 21st prime, and it's 2021. And you see how perfect's 35? So is Gonzaga, just like Catholic. Gonzaga's 71-35, just like Catholic 71-35. So there's a really strong ritual there for Gonzaga over Illinois. Very strong. And for one more, if Mark Few does win the championship, he'll get his 631st career win. He's on 625 right now. He needs to win 6 more to get to 631. That's the 115th prime, and Bobby Knight in the most simple cipher is 115. And keep in mind, Bobby Knight's also 52 like Indiana. It's also 56 like perfect season. And if the coach of Illinois lost in the championship, he'd get his 56th all-time loss to go with that perfect season ritual. And for a little bit more information on 32 and 115, since it's Jesuits, remember the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the Admerum de Gloriam motto with the Jesuits, and there's 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo, and Admerum de Gloriam has that 115. The Jesuits in the Scottish Rite came to power in France. France and Masonic is 115, so there's a relationship with that 32-115. And again, Mark Few could go 32-0 this year, get his 631st all-time win, the 115th prime. And again, the 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. So just like how the Dodgers won their first World Series in 32 years over the Rays. Gonzaga's the top Jesuit program in the tournament. Okay, so all of that looks really good. I mean, that is a really strong ritual right there, and it's a really in-your-face ritual, too. And a lot of times what they do, mocking sports fans, it is in your face. I mean, if Gonzaga goes perfect in Indiana, you'll hear them. They'll say, couldn't have scripted it any better. Wow, what are the odds that first team since Indiana to go perfect in the tournaments in Indiana? I mean, this is the kind of stuff they mock sports fans with season after season. And like we said at the beginning of the year, before the season even began, when they ranked Gonzaga number 1, it felt like they were making the narrative all about Mark Few. So, again, they said the only first Mark Few needs to accomplish now is winning the championship. If you missed yesterday's stream, I said, even though Gonzaga has a really strong narrative, Michigan has a shot as well. And Illinois also has a shot to win, but if it's Gonzaga versus Illinois, I'm going to feel really good about Gonzaga beating Illinois in that game. If it's Illinois-Michigan, I'd be torn on that outcome. That would be tough. So you might want to put in some insurance bets, but I really do like this Gonzaga-Illinois narrative. And with that said, let's scan through the first round games. Also, I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow. I want to read up on every matchup and just like get every little nook and cranny they're thrown out there in the articles, because I haven't read anything and I haven't followed college basketball at all this year. So outside of the numbers, it's good to know the narrative. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, probably not tonight, but tomorrow. And then we'll do one more live stream late. I'm going to skip doing the first 4 games. I don't like the first 4. So, you can do what you want with your first 4. There's 2 Mountaineers playing. There's 2 Spartans playing. There's 2 historically black colleges playing. To me, it's unclear exactly what they're doing with the first 4. I kind of want to wait and see. But we'll do a live stream while the first 4 games are winding down tomorrow. And then we'll bring whatever additional information I don't have now to that discussion and try to go as close to perfect as possible in the 64 remaining games. Okay, so we're going to go starting with the South bracket. We're going to start with the March 19th games. Again, the games on the right side of the bracket are March 19th. The games on the left side of the bracket start March 20th. So, starting with the South, you got 1 seed Baylor. Whoops, went too far down. You got 1 seed Baylor versus number 16 Hartford. Oh, by the way, I wanted to see what Jalen Rose was going to pick for his Final Four since he played for the Michigan and Fab Five, and we know Michigan has a lot to do with this. Oh, by the way, you know how we're really watching that Iona-Alabama game? The last time that Rick Pitino faced Alabama in the opening round was in 1987 with Providence, and that was the year he made a name for himself. He took the Providence team to the Final Four, but he beat Alabama that year in the opening round. And what's interesting is that 87 tournament was 34 years ago. And when you write out Indiana in the most pure cipher, it's 34. And here we are in Indiana again. So that's just another little nugget for that Iona-Alabama game. I don't think Iona's going to the Final Four, but could be a tribute to history if he beat Alabama again in the opening round. Okay, so Baylor versus Hartford. I don't think Hartford's going to upset Baylor, but if it happened, the only thing I could see going for them is they would stay on 8 losses for the season. 19 is the 8th prime. In all likelihood, though, they will get that 9th loss against the Baylor Bears. Bears is 45, which is the 9th triangular number. And I noticed if Baylor beat Hartford and then if they played North Carolina in the next round, because I think North Carolina is going to beat Wisconsin, they could get their 16th tournament win all time in UNC 16. So that's possible that Baylor knocks off Hartford and then North Carolina in the next round. The reason I like North Carolina over Wisconsin is if the Wisconsin coach loses, he'll fall to 4-4 in tournament history. And Wisconsin's 44 in the most pure cipher, and Wisconsin really likes that number. So I suspect Wisconsin will lose. So the coach falls to 4-4 in tournament history. North Carolina would also get their 19th win on the 19th. And North Carolina equals 67 in the most pure cipher, which is the 19th prime. Also, Roy Williams, the UNC coach, can stay on 263 career losses, the 56th prime against the Badgers, which is 56. So I like what I see in that North Carolina game. Villanova and Winthrop. I realize a lot of the media is saying that Winthrop's going to upset Villanova. There seems to be a lot of people saying that. If Winthrop did upset, the coach would get his 187th win, which is that big Jesuit number, Society of Jesus 187. So it's possible. But what stands out to me is if Villanova beats Winthrop, the coach will stay on 273 losses, Jay Wright, and he would likely face Purdue in the next round, and Purdue Boilermakers is 273. So that has some rhyme and reason to it. Villanova meeting Purdue in the next round. If Winthrop lost, they'd fall to 1-11 as well. Purdue Boilermakers is also 1-11. Could be a little bit of a tribute, as Villanova would likely move on to face the Purdue Boilermakers. So the upset is possible, but again, that staying on that 273 losses to face Purdue in the next round, to me, that makes a lot of sense. Purdue versus North Texas. North Texas Mean Green equals 287. This game's on the day, leaving 287 days left in the year, and that's probably where their season will end. North Texas can pick up, the coach for North Texas can pick up his 63rd loss, and there's 63-date numerology, and we were talking about how Drew Brees went to Purdue, and we saw this the other year. They were syncing up rituals with Purdue and Drew Brees and Texas Tech and Patrick Mahomes, and they were going back and forth on it on Twitter about their teams. But North Texas coach can pick up his 63rd loss on the 63-date numerology, and the game is 63 days after Drew Brees' birthday. Again, he went to Purdue, Saint the singular 63, and it could be something about Drew Brees retiring. Purdue, Purdue's a team that could end up in the Final Four as the 4 seed. Definitely not out of the question. So I'm thinking Purdue and Villanova are going to meet based on what we just talked about there. And then Texas Tech and Utah State. To me, this looks like an upset right here. This looks like an upset right here. Texas Tech coach can pick up his 55th loss all time. Utah State Aggies is 55 in the most pure cipher. That's the dark blue cipher. Again, in case you're new here, there are 4 ciphers. You want to know all 4. But what's most important out of the 4 ciphers is this dark blue one. Consider the 2 ciphers on the left more important than the 2 ciphers on the right. They're all important, but if you have to pick between numbers, the dark blue is most important. The 2 on the left are more important than the 2 on the right. So the Texas Tech coach can get his 55th loss all time, and he's got the perfect opponent to do it against. The Utah State coach can also get his 75th win. Indianapolis is 75. The Utah State coach can stay on 8 losses, Utah State can stay on 8 losses on the 19th. 19's the 8th prime. And again, the 1989 tournament, which was 32 years ago, which was won by Michigan in Seattle. Remember, Seattle equals 82. This is the 82nd tournament. 32 could be a big theme. Fully expecting Gonzaga to meet Michigan in the Final Four. But in 1989, every 11 seed upset the 6. I'm not sure that's going to happen this year, but I do like it here in this one. I think Utah State beats Texas Tech. The 55 is my favorite stat here. Arkansas versus Colgate. Really watch these 3 versus 14 since the bracket came out on Pi Day, 3/14, March 14th. But this looks to me like one of the biggest Jesuit rituals in the whole tournament. If Arkansas wins, the coach will get his 153rd win, right? And if the Colgate coach loses, he'll become 153 and 153. So that's 3 153s, and Jesuit orders 153. And Arkansas's got that 84-21 like Jesuit. So I don't think Arkansas is going to miss here against Colgate. I saw them on ESPN saying that they expect that this game will have over 200 and they said they expect it'll have over 200 points scored. They said each team should probably score more than 100, but pretty sure Arkansas will come out on top there. Okay, Florida versus Virginia Tech. This one is very iffy. If Virginia Tech lost, they would be 15-7. 157 is the 37th prime. Gators is 37. If VT lost, they would fall to 8-12 in tournament history. Gators is 37, the 12th prime. They'd get that 12th loss. If Virginia Tech lost, they would stay on 8 tournament wins on the 19th. 19's the 8th prime. But what bothers me about this one is if Virginia Tech upset Florida, the coach would get his 331st win, which is the 67th prime, and 67th the 19th prime, and the game's on the 19th. So there's probably more there for the favorite. But yeah, sometimes these prime number patterns, like 331, the 67th prime, 67, the 19th prime on the 19th, more than sometimes. It seems like a lot of times things go that way. So I'm not crazy about that game right there. I don't think it's going to be of much consequence because I don't think either of these teams are really going deep in the bracket. But yeah, I'm not crazy about that game. If you're not picking every game and you're just looking for the gems, which is what I recommend you do. Again, playing the big tournament pick'em's fun and all, but if you're trying to make money, you don't have to play every game. Play the best games. So, Ohio State versus Oral Roberts. If the Ohio State coach improves, he'll be 7-5 in the tournament. Indianapolis 75, so that seems like a no-brainer. He comes in with 201 all-time wins, the Ohio State coach, so watch out for them. Indianapolis is 201 as well. And you know who else comes in with 201 wins? The Clemson coach. And just thinking about the football teams. But Oral Roberts, their coach, is 55-66. Notice he can get his 67th loss on the 19th, 67 the 19th prime. So that looks right for the loss. So I don't think there'll be any surprises there with Ohio State and Oral Roberts. And then in the Midwest, Illinois versus Drexel. Again, I got Illinois going to the championship. Illinois' coaches, if he wins this game, the Illinois coach, which he should, he'll become 3-4 in the tournament, and Indiana's 34. So that seems like a nice fitting way to start. And Illinois can stay on 31 losses in tournament history. Drexel equals 31 and 32. I suspect they'll get that 32nd loss against Gonzaga in the championship, as we talked about. So yeah, no surprises there. Loyola Chicago versus Georgia Tech. Again, Loyola Chicago is one of the Jesuit programs. The Jesuit order equals 201 like Indianapolis. Gonzaga is named after a man whose name equals 201. Huge number at the Jesuits. If you're new here, do some research on 201 and the Jesuits. I talk about it all the time. I got a book about it. But anyhow, we have a Jesuit program versus Georgia Tech. Loyola Chicago's 63 forwards and backwards, playing on the 63 date numerology. John Carroll's got that 63 connection to establish the first Jesuit university, which was Georgetown in the U.S. If Loyola wins, this is a typo. Let me fix that. If Loyola wins, they improve to 14-5. Catholics 145. If Loyola wins, their coach gets his 187th win with Loyola. Society of Jesus 187. The Georgia Tech coach can fall to 2-5 in the tournament. Loyola Chicago Ramblers equals 97, which is the 25th prime. Can fall to 2-5 like 25. The only thing I see for Georgia Tech to possibly upset is to stay on 8 losses on the 19th, because 19 is the 8th prime. And they're going up against the 8th seed. So that's a possibility. But I think the Jesuit ritual is better here with the Jesuit school, especially since he can get his 187th win to start the tournament and hit that Catholic number for the season record. Okay, Oregon State lost 32 years ago in the opening round. I suspect they'll lose here in the opening round again. Tennessee can improve to 19-8 on the 19th, 19 the 8th prime. Tennessee would have become 23-23 in tournament history in their 46th game. March Madness is 46. And Oregon State would pick up their 21st loss in tournament history to start 2021. They'd become 12-21. It'd be their 33rd game as well. Oregon's the 33rd state. But really what I like most about this is just that Tennessee can become 19-8. Oklahoma State versus Liberty. Oklahoma State coach can get his 72nd win. Jesuit Order 72, and Oklahoma State Cowboys is 72, so that seems symbolic. They can stay on 8 losses on the 19th. Oklahoma State. I should write state here so we don't get confused. And they'd also get their 21st win of the season in the year 2021. Again, the bracket put out on the 73rd day of the 21st prime. The only narrative I see for Liberty is to hold Oklahoma State to 20 wins, because Flames is 20, which is the name of their nickname for their school, Liberty Flames. But yeah, I'm really looking for those Jesuit themes, and it does seem appropriate to get that 72nd win to start the tournament. And, possibly, hit 73, and maybe that's where they finish. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. San Diego State versus Syracuse. Here's the main reason I don't think all the 11s are going to beat the 6s this year. San Diego State has a really good riddle to win. Syracuse, Jim Boeheim can get his 34th loss in the tourney, and Aztecs is 34, San Diego State Aztecs, plus San Diego State is 139, which is the 34th prime. So looks like Jim Boeheim should get that 34th loss. Also, Jim Boeheim would get his 409th career loss, which is the 80th prime, and they're playing in Hinkle Fieldhouse, which equals 80 as well. So I like San Diego State there. West Virginia versus Morehead State. Morehead State can pick up their 8th loss on the 19th, 19 the 8th prime, so the underdog looks like they'll probably lose here. West Virginia can get their 19th win on the 19th, improving to 19-9, like 199 the 46th prime, and March Madness is 46. Also, the West Virginia coach can get his 310th win, and West Virginia Mountaineers is 310, and he would stay on 170 losses, and Mountaineers is 170. So, I mean, that looks really complete. His record getting to 310 and 170. Again, this game's not going to have a lot of value, but it looks very solid. West Virginia would also get their 32nd win in tournament history to start. And again, that could be a real big theme throughout the tournament, 32s. Morehead would fall to 6-9 in tourney history with a loss. That's right, with a loss, so it's more clear. And just the word Morehead alone is 69. So anyway, West Virginia looks good there. Clemson and Rutgers. I was watching ESPN, and the numbers say Rutgers can win this game. I was listening to one of the experts on ESPN. They had him on, or maybe it was CBS, but they said that he called Virginia to win the championship in the last tournament, and so did we. We had it through the numbers, but I wanted to listen to him since he had Virginia last time, and he really likes this Clemson team a lot. So when I was listening to him, I was like, sometimes the numbers do fail us, but what I saw in this was if Clemson lost, they'd be 3-6 in tournament history, and Clemson's 36 and Rutgers is 36. Clemson can also pick up their 8th loss on the 19th, 19 the 8th prime. Rutgers can improve to 6-7 in tournament history. 67's the 19th prime. And the only thing I could say about the Clemson coach is he does come in with 201 wins with Clemson. Indianapolis 201. And if Clemson coach did win, he would get his 369th all-time win. He has 201 with Clemson right now, but he's coached other teams. But yeah, all this right here looks really good for Rutgers. So had I not heard that analysis from the guy who's following college basketball, who really likes this Clemson team, I'd be thinking this looks pretty good for Rutgers. And it still could be them. I mean, the TV experts usually don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Houston and Cleveland State. Now, there was a man who was real big on Cleveland State, and I looked at one stat today, and I thought, well, maybe, I don't remember him bringing up this point, but Cleveland State's narrative to upset is right here. Their coach can get his 31st win. The Cleveland State coach, let me do a ST here. Cleveland State's coach could get his 31st win, and Houston's 31 in the most pure cipher, and we always call Houston the 31 city. So that is possible. I would do a small parlay with Houston, or not with Houston. I'd do a small parlay with Cleveland State and a group of games that you like, trying to turn, a $5 bill or a $10 bill into a lot more dollar bills. But again, there's a lot of reason to think Houston's going to win this game, who's favored by a lot. Cleveland State can pick up their 8th loss on the 19th, 19 the 8th prime. We know college basketball really loves their prime numbers and date relationships. Been documenting that for years. If Houston won, they'd be 16-16 in tournament history. When you write out 16, it equals 33 like Cleveland. The Houston coach Houston can also pick up their 30th win in all-time tournament history. Cougars is 30. They're the Houston Cougars. If they win 2 games, they'll get to 31. Houston's 31. If they win 3 games, they'll get to 32. Houston's also 32, and there could be a lot of 32 this year. If Houston won, the coach would stay on 63 losses with Houston on the 63-date numerology. And I know they're not playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, but just because that number's in Cleveland with the Cavaliers, sometimes things like that matter. So I would do a small parlay with a Cleveland State upset, just in case that coach does pick up the 31st win. But I wouldn't go betting the house on the upset, because, again, you don't have to bet a lot to make a lot off this game, especially if you group it with, a handful of other solid games. So And if the gentleman who did like the Cleveland State upsetting Houston, if he did make that point about 31, sorry, I didn't make that out when you were saying it, but when I looked today, I said, oh, look at that. That's interesting. Okay, so those are all the games on the 19th. I'm going to go through the games on the 20th now, and then I'm going to take your calls the rest of the way. So this is day 2. Now we're looking at the West in the East brackets, and Gonzaga can play either Norfolk State or Appalachian State. And I was looking at this, and I was like, man, you could really, either way, this could make sense. If Norfolk State played Gonzaga, they'd come in with 118 losses, and March Madness equals 118, and Gonzaga's 118. And that means if Norfolk State played Gonzaga and lost, they'd get their 119th loss. And remember, it was November 9th, 119, where the rankings came out for college basketball, and Gonzaga was ranked number 1. And that was the day of the narrative of how now the only thing Mark Few has to accomplish in his college basketball career is win the championship. And we said, man, if there was ever a year for the Jesuit school to win it, 21 is it, because that's a big old number with the Jesuits. And again, perfect is 73, which is the 21st prime, and Jesuits 21, and it's 2021. But remember what 119 has to do with the Catholic Church. Vatican equals 119, and Francis equals 119, and Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope. Indiana equals 52 like Pope. Remember, on a calendar that's named after the Pope, on a 52-week calendar. Again, the language and the calendar come from the Catholic Church. All roads lead to Rome. So you could make sense with Norfolk State coming in and losing, but then if Appalachian State advanced over Norfolk State, they could pick up their 64th loss versus Gonzaga on a 64 date numerology when Gonzaga Bulldogs equals 64 in the most pure cipher. So, again, I mean, either of those are a perfectly suitable ritual, and there might be a clue out there that I still haven't seen that would determine between the two. Here, you know what? Let me see something real quick. Gonzaga head-to-head. Let's see. Have they played either of these schools before? Doesn't look like they've ever played Norfolk State. Doesn't look like they've ever played Appalachian State either. Okay, so they've never played either school, so I was going to see if they'd played either school, but doesn't look like it. But whoever Gonzaga plays, they'll win that game. Okay, Oklahoma versus Missouri. If the Missouri coach lost, he would fall to 3-4 in tournament history, and Indiana is 34. If the Sooners advance, if they beat Missouri, Gonzaga would play them next, Oklahoma, and Mark Few could get his 33rd tournament win and give the Sooners their 33rd tournament loss all time, and Sooners is 33 in the most pure cipher. So, to me, that narrative has the most rhyme and reason to it. If Mark Few, because Mark Few's first win over either Norfolk or Appalachian State will be his 32nd tournament win all time, and think about that, he's starting the tournament with his 32nd win, and he could go 32-0 to finish the year. But then, in the second round, if he plays the Sooners, he can get the 33. And hold up. I'm stupid, though. I just thought about something. I'm an idiot, man. I'm an idiot. But Missouri's the Tigers, aren't they? So, okay, never mind. I guess that could go either way, couldn't it? Okay, I got to put that in here. Or Mark Few could get his 33rd win over the Tigers. So really that could make sense either way, but it would be the 33rd loss for Oklahoma. Here, I'll just show you. So Oklahoma right now in the tournament, 42-32 all time. And that means the Tigers could give them their 33rd loss. But the Tigers are here. Missouri's 22-27 all time. Okay. You'd get the double 33 ritual if it was Sooners. Keep in mind, if you write out Missouri Tigers, here, I'll just write it out here. Missouri Tigers is 201 and 75. And again, the Jesuit Order's 201. Indianapolis is 201 and 75. But yeah, that makes that a little bit iffy. But if Missouri did lose, the coach would fall to 3-4 in the tourney in Indiana, and Indiana is 34. So, but yeah, I would rate that game as a little bit dangerous. But either way, Gonzaga should not have any problem advancing over both teams, and Mark Few picking up his 33rd loss. Either way, he's covered. Or not 33rd loss, but 33rd win. Okay. Creighton versus UCSB. I think this one will be an upset. I think UCSB will get their 23rd win of the season over the Blue Jays. Blue Jays is 23 in the most pure cipher. In baseball, Toronto loves that number 23. Creighton with a loss would fall to 3-9 in tournament history, and Indy's on the 39th parallel north. Giants, remember all the New York Super Bowls come back to 39. Giants won one of their Super Bowls there. But Creighton, their record would be appropriate for the location. UCSB's win record would be appropriate with an upset. The only thing I could say for Creighton is they could get that 21st win in 2021, but I like the Blue Jays picking up the 23rd win over the Blue Jays a bit more because it's in that most pure cipher. Plus the value's there too. So definitely not the safest pick, but the upset narrative's where the value's at. Now, Ohio, I think Ohio has a great chance to upset Virginia. Remember, Virginia went down to UCMB, the first the first 1 seed to lose to a 16. Then they won the championship the next year. Then the year after that, there was no tournament, which was last year. And now this year, they could lose their first game again. And the reason I like Ohio to upset Virginia is because the coach of Ohio can get the 89th win. And if you guys weren't here for the last tournament where Virginia won, the reason we liked Virginia to win the tournament is because Tony Bennett, the coach, was on 89 career losses going into the tournament, and we thought he would stay there. Well, there was more to it than that. There was also the riddle they did in the news, but Virginia's 89 in the most simple cipher, and Virginia Cavaliers is 89 in the most pure cipher. So this is a big number with Virginia. And if Ohio beat them, their coach would get his 89th win. So I like that in light of all the value here in this game. Virginia would fall to 18-7 with a loss. Society of Jesus 187. Ohio would improve to 17-7. The Jesuit Order 177. Keep in mind, Ohio is the 17th state. They'd get their 17th win of the season. Their nickname's the Bobcats, which is 17 in the most pure cipher. Cavaliers is also 153, the 17th triangular number, which should remind you of LeBron with his $153 million contract with the Lakers, coming over on 1-7 from the 17th state, then winning the 17th championship for the Lakers in his 17th season. The Ohio coach can also stay on 64 losses on a 64-date numerology. The Ohio coach can pick up his 34th win with Ohio as well, and Indiana's 34. And the one caution on the upset, the only thing I see on the board for Virginia is that if Virginia won, he'd get his Tony Bennett would get his 17th win in the tournament, and again, Bobcats is 17. Cavaliers is also 153, the 17th triangular number, so there is one little thing there for Virginia, and it is possible. Sometimes it just takes one little thing, but I mean, there's a lot of value with an Ohio upset, and there's a lot of reasons to believe in it, especially that 89, since that was the number that was so huge for Virginia last tournament. And the other thing to consider is, Virginia, the other thing they could do with Virginia is they might not even play, because if they have one positive test on their team, then Ohio will just get a bye and just get to surpass Virginia. So, but yeah, definite upset narrative there. Okay, USC will either play Wichita State or Drake. It's one of the first 4 games. I like USC to win this game regardless of who they play. Remember, Keyshawn Johnson's daughter just died at age 25 on the Ides of March on his 237th day of his age. And if they win, they'll be 23-7. And her name was Maya, which equals 15 in the most pure cipher. USC could get their 15th win in tournament history. And I'm not sure if USC is going to win 3 games, but if they did, they would get to 25 wins for the season after her death at 25. And Trojans is 25 in the most pure cipher. Trojans is also 97, the 25th prime. So it's possible that that's what her death's about. If Wichita State did beat Drake, they would get to 17-5. Indianapolis, Indiana is 175, where they would play USC at. And Wichita State could also pick up their 19th win over Drake to face USC. USC Trojans is 67, the 19th prime, so that's possible. I guess to be fair, Drake equals 21, 2021 tournament, so I saw on ESPN they said they got back one of their players from injury who was questionable, key player for Drake. But yeah, again, I'm gonna forego the first 4. I just historically have not liked those games. So, but yeah, regardless, I think USC's will definitely pick up that 15th tournament win all time after the death of Keyshawn Johnson's daughter, because Keyshawn Johnson went to USC. She just died on Monday after Selection Sunday. Now, in terms of free picks, I don't think Kansas is going to miss against Eastern Washington here. Bill Self, the coach of Kansas, can get his 49th tournament win, and Washington's 49, and so is Eagles. They're the Eastern Washington Eagles, so perfect team to get the 49th tournament win against. The Kansas coach is on 117 losses right now. That's interesting because his next loss is 118. He'd have to beat USC before he faced Gonzaga, but if he did, he'd probably end up picking up that 118th loss versus Gonzaga. Again, Gonzaga's 118, Jayhawks is 118, March Madness is 118. That's always a big number in the tournament, 118. So, but yeah, Kansas should win this game right here. And if Gonzaga ended up playing USC instead, hold on. Let's look at something real quick. Okay, so USC is right in the West, right about in the middle against 6 versus 11. So if they win their game against the 11, which they should, they'll play the winner of Kansas, Eastern Washington. So they'd play Kansas. And, okay, so whoever wins Kansas USC would face from the bottom part of the bracket, which would likely be Iowa. And then they would play. So let me think about that. USC would it be 1? Yeah, if USC won 3 games, then they would face Gonzaga. And then Gonzaga would probably beat them. Definitely beat them, they would. So, yeah, it could go that way. I think it'll probably either be USC or Kansas that faces Gonzaga, because the riddle's there for both of them. USC, remember, they're in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is on the 118th meridian west, and Los Angeles, California is 118. So, we're going to go even further tomorrow. Right now, I'm just really focused on the first round, but sometimes when you look further ahead, it helps you unlock things in the earlier rounds too, because you just put the pieces of the puzzle together more clearly. So that's why we're going to do one more stream tomorrow. Again, it's a lot of work to go through the tournament, and because I missed most of Sunday, I was a little bit behind. I was traveling back from Seattle on Sunday since we were out there. Or no, I take that back. Sunday I was pounding the pavement out there with Randy and Yakima, but I know I got behind on Sunday. Normally I would have been decoding all Sunday. Okay. But yeah, Kansas should definitely pick up that 49th win for Bill Self over Eastern Washington. Oregon versus VCU. I'm not crazy about this one. if Oregon did win, they would get their 21st win and become 21-6 for the year. 21's the sixth triangular number. It's 2021. The bracket came out on the 73rd day of the year, the 21st prime. If I'm being too redundant for you, sorry, but I know some people need to hear these things over and over until they stick in their head. But if Oregon did win, it would give them 21 wins, and then they would face Iowa next, and Iowa is 21 in the most pure cipher. VCU, if with a loss, would fall to 19-8. Now, this game's not on the 19th, but still, 19 is the 8th prime, and a lot of times the prime number relationships come together. The one thing for VCU is they could pick up their 20th win on the 20th, and if they did that, they'd have a shot to upset Iowa, because Iowa does have that 21 connection. But if Oregon won this round and lost in the next round to Iowa, Iowa could get their 32nd tournament win over the Ducks, and Ducks is 32. So I wish I knew a little bit. Again, that's why I'm going to read a lot and just read about what's going on with these teams. Iowa's a high seed, so they must be a pretty solid team. But yeah, getting that 32nd win over the Ducks would make a lot of sense. So probably just barely favor Oregon there, but I got to admit, I'm not crazy about that game. And then Iowa and Grand Canyon, I assume Iowa will win here. If the Iowa coach wins the game, or excuse me, if he wins 2 games in the tournament, he will become 7-9, like 79, the 22nd prime on the 22nd of March. So I see that. Iowa probably is going to win. If he did it over the Ducks, remember Ducks is 13 in the most pure cipher, but it does have an S in it as well, so it's also 22. So he could become 7-9 on the 22nd over the Ducks. And like we said, if Iowa won their first 2 games, they would have 32 tournament wins over the Ducks, and Ducks is also 32. So again, if you guys are new here, these are the base ciphers, but there's a rule to I can't type. There's a rule to keep in mind with the reduction ciphers. The 19th letter of the alphabet can be worth 10 or 1 because of the rules of numerology. So if you make it 10 instead of 1, Ducks becomes 22. And then in reverse, it's H. So it's not going to make a difference for Ducks in reverse. But if a team has an H in it, like Washington, since there's an H in there, it'd be plus 9 more. So that's just a little something to be mindful of. It's not super crucial information, but yeah, I suspect Iowa gets it done here, and they probably do win those first 2 games and do improve to 7-9 on the 22nd. Oh, also, if Iowa made it to the Elite 8, the Elite 8 is on March 29th, and the Iowa coach is on 328 losses. So I was thinking, if he makes it to the Elite 8, he could pick up his 329th loss on 329. So, as I say that, I got to check something real quick. Hawkeyes got that 34 like Indiana. Yeah, I thought there was a 62 with. I thought there was a 62 with them. There it is. Iowa Hawkeyes is 62, and that date, March 29th, can be written 29/3 like 293, the 62nd prime. If you recall last year on that date, there were so many celebrities that died and got hospitalized on that date with COVID and coronavirus pandemics 293. But a lot of the stories had a 293 or a 62 connection. So Hawkeyes could definitely be making it to the Elite 8. As a 2 seed, that wouldn't surprise anybody. But the riddle's there in numbers too. So here, I'm gonna add on that piece right there. Okay, so now we got Michigan versus either Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. Mount St. Mary's obviously Catholic. Texas Southern's a historically black college. That Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers, the way they spell their names, 100 like Michigan Wolverines. And remember, Lucas Oil Stadium's 100, and the championship's on Mark Few's 100th day of his age, and 100% is perfect. If Mount St. Mary's loses to Texas Southern, the coach will get his 54th loss, and Texas Southern is 54. So that could be a clue right there. I mean, just in terms of the head-to-head, that does make some sense if that coach picked up his 54th loss versus Texas Southern. If I remember correctly, that's in the most pure cipher too. Yeah, Texas Southern 54. It's 54 and 72 the same way as Jesuit Order. It's not a Jesuit school, but as we've been pointing out, it seems that a lot of these historically black colleges that have the black fraternities, it seems that they are run by the Jesuits. So anyway, Michigan should beat either of those teams. I noticed the media is big on this LSU team. I saw multiple people on ESPN today say that they thought LSU will knock off Michigan because Michigan's going to be missing their best player. And Isaiah Livers. Hold on. I want to do something one more time. July 28th, 2020 to the championship. Yeah. See, Michigan, man, because... God, Michigan has the perfect alignment with Juwan Howard for the championship. If Michigan somehow gets past Gonzaga and I'm wrong about this perfect thing, I still really like it. But if I am wrong about it, again, that's why I'd hedge a little bit with Michigan and Illinois. They're the only other teams I can see winning the championship this year. And if it was Michigan, Illinois, I might barely favor Illinois to win that thing. Be close. But you see how it's 251 days from his birthday, Livers, to the championship? 251 is the 54th prime, and the date can be written 5/4 like 54, and Illinois equals 45 and 54. And if they did make it to the championship, he would definitely be back for that game. So, but yeah, they were just saying that they expect him to miss this first weekend, so Michigan's vulnerable in the teams they play, and they'll play LSU in the second round. But you know who was the most adamant about LSU beating Michigan? I believe his name's Ryan Clark. He's on ESPN. He does the NFL broadcast, NFL Live for ESPN. What I do know about that guy is he's always real adamant about his picks, and he's almost always wrong. It's like he's the clown for the NFL pick show. His picks are always the worst. So I think he said he went to LSU as well. But anyway, if LSU was upset, which would be way off from what the media is saying, but if LSU was upset, they would fall to 3-4 in the tournament, and Indiana's 34, so that's possible. But that said, if they won, they'd be 4-3, and then they'd play Michigan in the next round, very likely, and they could fall to 4-4 because Michigan does have that 44 Gematria. So I think that is very possible. That's the LSU coach in the tournament, by the way. LSU's coach could become 4-4 if he wins the first round and loses the second round in Michigan. By the way, Louisiana State University Tigers is also 4-4, not too far off from 44. This first game is LSU's 52nd tournament game. LSU's 52, as is Indiana. So Colorado and Georgetown. If Georgetown wins, they'll get their 48th tournament win, and Buffalo's is 48. And if Georgetown wins 2 games, Ewing will get... let me write this a different way. His 64th win. That's better. If Georgetown wins 2 games, Ewing will get his 64th win. Georgetown Hoyas is 64. March Madness has the 64 connection. The Hoyas come in 13-12. If they won, they'd get their 14th win. Colorado's 43, the 14th prime. The danger in this game is Colorado can get their 23rd win of the season, and Hoyas is 23 in the most pure cipher. And if Georgetown lost, they'd be 13-13 for the year, and Colorado Buffaloes is 91, which is the 13th triangular number. The game is also at Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is 163, the 38th prime, and Colorado's 38. So, in light of the Jesuit connections, I'm thinking the Jesuit teams are going to do well in the first round. I definitely think Georgetown's worth an upset play, but again, don't go betting the house on them because Colorado's narrative to win is not half bad. So what I'm saying is I wouldn't be shocked if Colorado won, but I'm going to give Georgetown the dog the benefit of the doubt with all the Jesuit stuff going on, it being 2021, and I'd probably put together a card where all of the Jesuit teams exit the first round with a win, make it to the second round, because I think there is a good chance that happens. Okay, Florida State, UNC Greensboro. I didn't see a lot with this game. I must be missing something here. But if Florida State was upset, the game's on a 28 date numerology, which is the seventh triangular number, and they can get their seventh loss of the season. If Florida State won, however, and so did Georgetown, Florida State would have a chance at their 23rd win versus the Hoyas for the year. And here. No. That must be for the tournament. Let me make sure I got that right. I think that's for the tournament. All time. Florida State. Yeah, they come in with 21 wins. So let me just I'm gonna write tourney win. So if Colorado can't pick up the 23rd win, then Florida State's going to have a shot at it as well. You know what, you guys? You know what? You know how we were talking about if Georgetown won 2, they'd get to 64? Here's another thing we got to think about. Or if they win just one game, they'll have 63 wins. And that could be because John Carroll is who established Georgetown. He established it when he was 54 years old, but you see how his name's also 63? So that 63 could play as well. We were looking at the 64 because it's with Georgetown Hoyas and March Madness and 64 teams. And remember, Georgetown went to the championship in the first ever March Madness, and they lost to Villanova. They were the defending champions. They won the year before with John Thompson. Oh, by the way, John Thompson, hold on. He died August 30th by the numbers from his death to March 20th. It's 202 days later. That means that the official tournament with the 64 teams, well, I guess the first 8 would begin a span of 201 days from his death. And then March 19th, when the 64 teams start, is 201 days after that big Jesuit number. But yeah, that's part of the reason I think Georgetown's going to get some love too and win in the first round. That game does make me nervous, but what's the Gematria John Thompson? I forget. John Thompson's got that 59. Okay. But yeah, I was looking at this game for a while and I just couldn't come up with anything. I was like, where's the riddle at in this game? Missing something here. And I know that might be it. I might just be missing it. Okay, so BYU is going to play the winner of the Michigan State UCLA game. If they win, they'll be 21-6. Again, 21, the sixth triangular number. They're the sixth seed. The BYU coach is 121-70 coming into this game. Brigham Young University equals 122 and 121. And that Jesuit motto, Isusam Salvator, is 122. But if he won, he'd get his 122nd win, right? And okay, that's what it is. So if BYU wins this round, they'll play the Texas Longhorns in the next round, very likely. And Longhorns equals 122, and Texas Longhorns equals 70, right? So if BYU wins, the coach becomes 122-70 to face the Longhorns in the next round, who have that gematria. So, and then if he lost to Texas in the second round, the BYU coach, if BYU coach lost to Texas in second round, he would get his 15th loss with BYU, and Texas is 15 in the most pure cipher. So it looks like the favorite should advance here. BYU should advance, and Texas. And it looks like Texas should beat BYU. So that looks pretty strong right there. Just to throw out the devil's advocate narrative, if Texas were upset by Abilene Christian's 149, which is the 35th prime, they could keep Texas on 35 tournament wins all time. Then again, if they win, they'll get their 36th win, and then say they beat BYU in the next round, they'd get their 37th win. 37 is the 12th prime, BYU's 12 in the most pure cipher. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think BYU and Texas both advance, and then Texas beats BYU. Okay, and then UConn and Maryland. This one's a little bit tricky too. If UConn wins, they get their 60th tournament win. Indianapolis is 60, and Terrapins, the Maryland Terrapins. So you got this double 60 thing, be their 60th tournament win. And if UConn wins, the Maryland coach would stay on 29 tournament wins. Huskies is 29, as in the UConn Huskies. Now, if Maryland wins, they'll get their 43rd tournament win. Huskies is 43 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, which isn't quite as pure as that 29. I know up here in University of Washington Huskies, man, they like to do a lot of stuff with that 43. Also, this game's in Mackey Arena, which is 43 in the most pure cipher. So, that's pretty uncomfortable right there. I mean, that's pretty much a flip of the coin. The UConn coach does come in with 201 wins all time, 50 with UConn. If UConn did win this game as the favorite slightly, he would get his 51st win in UConn Huskies. I believe that's 51 in the most pure cipher. Let me double check it. Yeah, he'd get his 51st win. So, but yeah, definitely a dangerous game. And Alabama-Iona. Again, if Iona upsets, they'll have 13 wins for the season. Alabama's 13 in the most pure cipher. Pitino went to the Final Four with Providence the year he started the tournament against Alabama. That was 34 years ago. Indiana's 34 in the most pure cipher. Indiana also won the championship that year, 1987. And if the Alabama coach lost, he'd fall to 2-4 in the tournament, and Iona equals 24, and Alabama would stay on 24 wins for the season. So, hold on. I forgot to write. There's one thing that I see that could go in Alabama's favor, besides being the big favorite. But I think it's this right here. Richard Andrew Pitino. Yeah. You see how his full name is 115? Iona is 1-14 in tournament history. They could fall to 1-15 with Richard Andrew Pitino, whose full name is 115. Bobby Knight's also 115 since it's in Indiana. Timeout. Considered greatest college basketball coaches of all time, Pitino and Knight. But yeah, I would definitely have to do a parlay play with Iona upsetting, because like we talked about the other day, their huge payout alone is just a straight bet. But again, this is the type of game where you can bet $5. You can take a bunch of the games that look really solid. If those games come through and Iona comes through for $5, I mean, you can make several $100s off a $5 bet. And again, that's the way to do it in this community with this knowledge. You don't have to bet a lot to earn a lot. And when these things fall through, then you're not out. You're out $5. Stay home and make yourself a meal and don't eat out that night. You'll get all your money back. So again, I encourage you guys to be very smart with this knowledge. A lot of people get greedy. They see that, wow, man, if I bet $10,000 on Iona, man, I'm going to have a whole ton of money. Well, if Iona upsets, you just lost $10,000. So, or if Iona doesn't upset, then you lost your $10,000. So again, be smart, but there's definitely an upset narrative here. There's a historical narrative, and again, a tremendous payout value. So, okay, that's what I got for today. Like I said, I'm going to be reading up on all these games and looking more at the bracket and filling it out more and seeing if I see other things that line up for like Elite Eight, Final Four that I'm not seeing right now. I did say yesterday I would have all three of my Final Four teams. I'm going to wait one more day. I want to do a little bit more research. But obviously I like Gonzaga, Illinois, and Michigan, who are all 1 seeds. By the way, Jalen Rose. I want to see what Jalen Rose was going to say, because he played for Michigan. For his championship, he had Michigan over Baylor, and he had all 4 of the 1 seeds making it. He said, this year all 4 ones make it. It's all chalk. Michigan over Baylor. So that was Jalen Rose's pick, who, again, was a member of the Fab Five, with Juwan Howard, who's now the coach of Michigan, Chris Webber. I forget the names of the other guys on that team. But yeah, that's what I had for today. If you guys got here late, you can rewind the video to the start. If not, you can hang in here right now because we're going to start taking some calls. So it is that number on the screen, you guys. It is 509-560-4982, and I am getting the line open right now. The line is officially open. So if you want to phone in, first come, first serve. Again, try to keep your call efficient. Make a great point. Stick to college basketball. Don't call in and ask me about other sports right now. You're welcome to throw out something if you see something tonight, but again, I haven't decoded any other games today, so I'm not going to have much of an opinion. But what's up, 248? You're on. Please.
How you doing?
Oh, just want to remind people too, when you call in, try to mute the video before you call in. Otherwise, you'll hear my voice in the background. But you're on. What's up?
Yeah, it's down. What's going on? So I was just driving earlier, and I was re-listening to the video from last night. You was talking about Perfect, and one of my favorite rappers from back in the day. He's from Chicago or from Illinois, and he got a song called Perfect. So I'm like, when he dropped that album came out 9/11/2015. So from that day to the NCAA tournament day, 2,033 days, like 233 is the 51st prime.
Right.
It's 290 weeks and 3 days, like 293. 66 months, 3 weeks and 4 days. So that's kind of line up with Michigan.
What's the name of this rapper? What's the name of the rapper with the song Perfect?
His name is Sir Mike. His name is Sir Michael Rocks.
Sir Michael Rocks.
So, yeah, but he got a nickname, Banco Populaire. So the album that dropped is Populaire. You spell that Populair.
He was born in '87, the year Indiana won the championship.
Oh yes, in '87, that's the year that MJ won too. So MJ 23.
Okay.
I just noticed that today too.
I'm trying to remember what these guys used to have a song on one of the popular video games. I remember this, but I can't think of the name. The Cool Kids, that's who he is. Okay, the Cool Kids.
Yeah, the Cool Kids, right? Yeah, he's from the Cool Kids. So the other half of the Cool Kids, he's from Detroit.
Okay. Yeah. I remember my friend had some basketball video game and it had a soundtrack on there, and like when you turn on the game, the song was off and on.
Right.
So okay.
So I want to talk about the album Populaire and the lyrics to Perfect real quick. Populaire, you spell that it is 108, 45, 108, and 45. His moniker or whatever is Banco Populaire. You spell Banco, Banco. Banco alone is 35, 17, 128. Banco Populaire is 143, 62, 208, and 73. Now, in the song Perfect, it's really about nothing. He's just saying a bunch of like hipster cool kid stuff. So he says something like, "That's on me. That's my bad. That's my bad. You're the old dog grandma had." So I'm like, He kind of like depicting a foul, like a real tough foul against a dog. Like maybe like Kofi Coburn, the biggest player for Illinois. If they meet Gonzaga, he get into a skirmish or something, he get ejected or something like that. You know?
Okay.
And he also got a line, and it's just random. So he says, "That's my cousin Ricky. That's my dad." So he said, "Ricky, that's my dad," like Rick Pitino.
Here, is it all the stuff you're throwing at me? Have you compared his name, Sir Michael Rocks, with Gonzaga Bulldogs?
No, I didn't. I was just
his name is like Gonzaga Bulldogs in two of the ciphers, the exact same, and one of them's 163, just like how the championship's on Bobby Knight's 163rd day of his age. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's a great observation. I'm gonna look more into the song, and because this guy was used in a popular basketball soundtrack, I think you're not far off with this. Also, his name equals 73, like perfect. So yeah, good one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
Maybe take it easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if anyone was listening and thinking that he was off, he might not be off with that. He might not be off with that at all. So the cool kids, they were popular like what, 15 years ago. So I remember their songs have a lot of bass in them. Okay, we got any other callers? Tampa, Super Bowl town. What's up, Tampa?
Hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing, bud?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great, man. So this is what I got. I remember yesterday you had said, look at teams getting their 8th loss on the 19th. Looking in the Midwest, you have Illinois giving Drexel their 8th loss on the 19th. That's the 1 seed. You have Houston giving Cleveland State their 8th loss on the 19th. That's the 2 seed. And then for the 3 seed, you have West Virginia, who's 18-9, giving Morehead State possibly their 8th loss on the 19th. That's the 3 seed. When you break down Midwest into full reduction, you get 3, and then English Ordinal, it's 3 as well. So I don't know, 1, 2, 3. That just seems like a pretty strong case there all around in the Midwest.
Yeah, I'd really follow that pattern with 19 and 8. It'll probably be a good one. So yeah, I hear everything you're saying there.
Appreciate it. Thank you, bud.
All right, yeah, take care, man.
You too.
Yeah, I didn't even have that in the notes because I'm just thinking it's a no-brainer. But Drexel can pick up 8th loss on 19th, 8th prime. So let's see. Yeah. Really watch those 8s on the 19th. Let's go out to Gary, Indiana. What's up?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
I'm calling about good. I'm calling about the Iona game with Patino.
Okay.
So I looked up when he initially signed with them, and he signed on March 14th, 2020.
1 year to the day of the bracket being set. Okay.
Yeah, and also if he does
win 2,
end up pulling the upset off of.
If he won
Iona.
two with Iona, he could get him to 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he'd have to win 2 games.
Exactly. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
So, and I think he'll also get, if I'm mistaken, 56 wins too, or with like something with 56 if he wins too.
Yeah. You're positive that you're positive that he signed on March 14th, 2020.
So I googled it. It said he signed in the second Saturday of March 2020. That's what it was. And then I also read an article that was posted on.
I
March
see it.
14th,
Yeah, here it is. Sports.
2020.
Everything's got it on March 14th. Yeah, it's true, man. I'm gonna add that to the notes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good catch. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Have a good one. Hopefully this goes well, man.
All right. Appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you.
peace. Yep.
Rick Pitino signed with Iona on March 14, 2020. Here, we got a call first. What's up, Oklahoma? Oklahoma? 918? Oh, come on, man. Don't call in and hang up. Okay. You guys first come, first serve. Waiting for the next one. If he won 2 games, let's see. We got another call from Indiana. What's up, Indiana?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey.
Got a lot, man, actually. So the 82nd edition is what you would find on Wikipedia. As you know, Bobby Knight's going to turn 81. It's actually the 81st champion. If you look on the NCAA site, Louisville, funny you guys are talking about Rick Pitino, it says vacated. They had all that removed. This is all in Indianapolis, which they had 123 wins removed. And 81 is big. Like I said, Bobby is going to be 81 this year around the city. So on the Marriott, there's a humongous big blue Marriott that says Indiana. There's like a huge bracket that they just like put a graphic on the side of the hotel.
Okay.
And it says Indiana, where champions are crowned, like Corona. Where champions are crowned by itself, 81. just like on 70, the highway that I take from downtown to my house, 70 Hoosier Hoops Highway, 81. Where the game's being played, Peyton Manning's out front of it on the statue, number 18. So that's just to lay a little down on the 81. I think that's all I have for that for a second. But from Mark Few's 58th birthday, to go back to 32, which everybody's a fan of, from Mark Few's 58th birthday, his last one, to Bob Knight's 81st is 302 days, which Robert Montgomery Knight, which is actually a thing, man, Dick Vitale used to wear that out with him, is 302. If you type in Indiana basketball, which is what this tournament I think is about, 137 to 33rd prime, 56, and then you know what 322 means, to go with another 32. NCAA basketball is 32, college is 32. Archie Miller. I stopped following basketball when I realized it was rigged. Came across you after Kobe. I've talked to you before. Been making a little money. Everybody listen to him, make money on the futures. But anyways, Archie Miller was fired, as you probably know, on Monday. That is 32 weeks to the day, another 32 to Bob Knight's birthday. And I'm going to speed it up here. That's 7 months and 1 day, which 71 is Gonzaga Bulldogs, and Hoosier State. I suggest everybody maybe when the games are at Hinkle Fieldhouse, consider running the numbers for Hoosiers, which I left out as 108, 45, 108, and 45. To go back to the 81 and its 45th year. So, to go with your 201, Zach, this is the 201st year for Indiana University, like as a university, born on 120. It's 21 years this year since Bob Knight got fired in 2002. Remember that 22 for later. 7,670 days from 9/1. Or wait, I'm sorry. That's how we do it in numerology, right? From 9/10/2000 to this 9/10 is 7,670 days. So this is kind of a reset thing. And man, you mentioned earlier about the mockery. I'm telling you, this is a mockery for Indiana fans. I kind of am giggling, to be honest. To go with you guys' Louisville Iona thing, man, this whole Louisville cheating and being removed as a champion was in 2013. Just like I think you said they're playing Alabama. So I'm going to go real fast, Zach, back to the 28, because it is still the 82nd edition. On 2/8 last year, 2020, was the last time Bob Knight visited Assembly Hall. It was really bad, man. Like, Duke could barely walk. They pretty much rolled him out there, you know what I'm saying?
I see.
So let's go to, man, I could keep going about Bob Knight. I just really want to say Gonzaga's winning this. You're right about that. I'm going to speed through this, dude, and throw shit at you with 76. As you know, it's Duke and Kentucky, first time they're not in it since 76. That's how I use big rivals. As far as definitely Kentucky, then with Duke, Knight coached Coach K there. Or as far as at West Point Academy, you run West Point Academy, that's 67. Bob Knight's birthday is 67 days left in the year. As you probably know, national champions is 76. Archie Miller, the dude they just fired, is 76. The Circle City is what we're called, and as far as Indianapolis, 76. So there's that. 7 months and 6 days from Mark Few's. Wait, where am I here? From the round of 64, from the start of the round of 64 to Bob Knight's birthday is 7 months and 6 days, to go with that 76. And now I'm going to get to the Indiana basketball part of it, because we were just talking about, I think Iona plays Alabama. Is that correct? Well, Mike Davis from Alabama took over for Bobby Knight in 2002. On 3/18, which is when this tournament, well, the play-in games start, 2006, and there's a 26. There's a lot of 26 in this. I can mention that real quick in a second. But Mike Davis coached his last game in defeat to Gonzaga. Ironically, I'm sure, or coincidentally, I'm sure. So that was on 3/18. I'm going to say these 26s real quick, man, because Mark Few was born in 62. Mark Norman Few was 62. Lucas Oil Stadium is 226. Gonzaga University, 226. March Madness, 206. Banker Life Fieldhouse, where I think Gonzaga starts, 206. It's 266 days from the final to Mark Few's next birthday. You know what 266 is, Zach?
Indeed.
So to stay on the 20, yeah, now I'm going to shift gears a little, man, to the guy that took over from Mike Davis. And Illinois has a lot to do with this, so I'm not saying they might not scalp him, I'll say, in the game to go to the Final Four. But Kelvin Sampson is the coach for Houston. Kelvin Sampson was hired in 2006, fired in 2008, to go back to the 82. 4/5/21 is basically his half birthday. It is 26 weeks of his 65th year. Let's remember that he was, well, we'll say on the 62, man. If Houston wins 5 games, they'll be 29-3. As far as at that point, and that's the 62nd prime, 293. He was fired, and this is where it gets kind of even better, buddy. He was fired on 2/22 from IU in 2008. And as far as the 2/22 goes, first of all, there's 2 months and 22 days between Mark Few and Calvin Sampson's birthday. Houston is the 2 seed. In 1984, same year Bobby Knight won the Olympics in LA. Might have something to do with the upcoming Super Bowl. But in 1984, Bob Knight won the Olympics with Michael Jordan on the team. Houston's Phi Slamma Jamma finished second for the second time in a row. Cougars is 84 to go with that 84. This is kind of why, if you look at Georgetown's scores, which I just did as I was listening to you talk, they're really ridiculous how they got in the tournament. But Georgetown, obviously, people pointed out they won. I think that's maybe pointing more to this 84 season. 84 was 37 years ago. Few's 37th tourney win will be coming with this. To go back to Kelvin Sampson and Houston, Sampson took IU to their 34th tourney appearance when he was the coach there. Notice this is just like Brady. Notice that was in the 06-07 season. So much of this to me is like it's going back from the 6 to 7. But in that 06-07 season, it was the 34th appearance for IU where he beat Gonzaga in the first round. If he wins 5 games, he will have 34 tourney wins. Indiana, as you said, is 34. Bob Knight, 43. I think there's a cheating thing with this. He was fired because he supposedly cheated. The player was Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon was signed to Illinois. Eric Gordon, if you write it out, is 108 and 54. As I said, an insult, man, to me. Remember, these are all a lot of Colts fans, too, that hate the Patriots and have dealt with cheating, so they've rubbed cheating into this. So if they would have to watch Kelvin Sampson play Gonzaga, possibly beat, or tie the 32-0 shit, it would drive them nuts. But they would meet in the Elite Eight in a 1-2 matchup to go with the 21. It's an Indian theme. If you look at the Fighting Illini symbol, and Mr. Sampson is a Lumbee Indian. Our baseball team, I heard you ask last night, it's a minor league team, and we are the Indianapolis Indians.
Okay.
It's right there. It's Indiana.
Right.
But we have a lot to do with the Negro League as well. They were the Indy Clowns, blah, blah, blah. But Lumbee Indian, man, this is actually why I got on is that, like I said, I haven't watched a fucking second of NCAA basketball this year, man. Saturday morning, was like, oh shit, this is going on. The tournament's coming up. I might run some numbers. As I'm looking at who's playing in conference tournaments, I see Houston, click on it, see Kelvin Sampson. I'm like, holy shit, this dude's still coaching. Because he went to the NBA and was assistant coach and other shit. But Lumbee Indian is 55 and 71. Just like Mr. Blue Shirt, which I found out was his nickname when he was a coach at Oklahoma. 55 and 71, those 71s, just like earlier, Gonzaga Bulldogs, Gonzaga, Hoosier State. This also, Mr. Blue Shirt's also 152, like Coach Few and Mark Norman Few. But here's the really good part, kind of. It's disgusting in a way, but 71 is also Battle of Hayes Pond. So I'm reading about Mr. Sampson, and his father, John Ned Sampson, was one of, remember this number, 500, one of 500 natives to drive out the KKK in Maxton, North Carolina. This happened in 1958. If you write out Battle of Hayes Pond, it's like 71, like I said. It's also 82, like the 82nd edition. 271, the 58th prime, like the year it happened. Mark Few's 58 years old. Houston University is 85, just like basketball, and Crossroads of America, which is also on signs all around town. 500. So the Indy 500, to go with the Lumbee Indian 55, is 55 days from April 5th. 7 weeks and 6 days. You write runner-up, and Coach Sampson is 127 and 46 and 2 ciphers, exactly the same. Coach Sampson's the 45th prime as well with 62. The scary part for me, Zach, being an Indianapolis native, if you write runners-up and power outage, it's also 146 and 52. If you write Indy, I-N-D-Y, I would use those numbers. It's also 52, but it's also 56, just like power outage. And I can take a breath if you want to say anything, bro.
Sure. So it sounds like you think Houston and Illinois are going to meet in the Elite Eight. Is that correct?
I do, man. I actually think it's either Sampson's definitely getting, like, he's part of this whole tournament with Indiana basketball. I suggest anybody looking at anything to do with Bob Knight. Ohio State's where he played. They're going somewhere. Texas Tech's where he went after IU. Any of these teams, he was also known for getting beat in the first round.
Who's that, Sampson?
I do think Sampson.
Who was known for getting beat?
Bob Knight.
Oh, Bob Knight,
man. That was the thing with, like, people like me that would be skeptical. Even when I was watching, I would, really, you're worshiping this dude. Like, I can go on and on about that, like how they won in the 70s. As far as you keep talking about 87, Zach. So there's a dude in town that has a radio show that I just clicked on since I got on this damn cipher, and thanks, man. But Dan Dockich was a coach with Bobby Knight. He has a radio show here. So as soon as I started noticing all this, I started listening to the show on the way home from work. He had Jim Boeheim on my way home. I didn't know Boeheim's son played for Syracuse right now, Buddy Boeheim.
Right.
That was entertaining. But this is funny, man. And it shows how it's kind of a laugh at Hoosier fans, so to speak. But Dockage went in and he said the word Jesuit, man. He said, so Jim, I just have to ask, did you ever see a small Jesuit school like that doing what Mark's doing there? And Jim just kind of giggled and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I kind of did. Not undefeated. And then he poked fun and said, how are they doing there since your guy left? So Doc, they jab a little, and then Dockett says, I sat here in 2006 when they hired Sampson and drank a beer with Mark Few. And he told me, he said, man, I would never have taken this job. Mark Few turned down the job before Sampson.
I see.
So there's a little jab there. And he said, I would have never taken this job. These Hoosiers are crazy. Because, man, it is. I've read another quote in an article recently while I was doing all this that he said back then he wouldn't want to go 500 and his head be on a platter.
So, question for you: Are you suggesting that you think Houston could easily be in the Final Four? You think they could get past Illinois to the Final Four?
I do, bro. There's either like a little payback to Sampson from Illinois, because I did watch those games because I actually used to coach some, man, and I coached against Eric Gordon's brother in AAU. And, dude, I'm talking about every time Eric Gordon touched the ball when they played at Illinois that year, they booed. Just when he touched the ball, just if they were like swinging the ball around the top of the key, they would boo him. So there's something there. They're going to play, in my opinion, unless Sampson gets beat by Cleveland State in the first round.
That's a really good piece of information. That's a really good piece of information right there. And, I'm going to go back and look at all that history more. So I appreciate all the knowledge you brought to it. Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. And I just got to throw this out there real fast, and then I'm out. USC coach, it's kind of funny to me as I was just looking through stuff. He's the guy, if you remember, Florida Gulf Coast went to the Final Four. He's a coach for them. He's now with USC. He played at Johns Hopkins.
Oh, interesting.
Just throw that out there.
Okay, appreciate that too. Yeah, good ones, man. You got a lot of information. Thank you.
Right on, man. Thanks, Zach. You have a great one, bro.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
All right, peace.
All right, I let him break our 5-minute rule, but he had a lot of good information. I think most of you guys appreciated that call. And, I'm going to explore that a lot more. So, Houston's coach, former Indiana coach. We know this has a lot to do with Indiana. The history with him and Mark Few. All that's good to know. So, if Houston and Illinois, we were saying it would make a lot of sense if Houston won 3 games because it would put them at 32 all time, right? So if they went in the round of 64, the round of 32, the round of 16, that puts them in the Elite 8 against Illinois. They'd be on 32 wins. You'd have that 32 symbolism. Caller?
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
This Chris from DC.
Yeah, what's up, man? I recognize your voice. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
ESPN, they just said just now that Jerron Harmon, the guy from Oklahoma, got tested positive for COVID just now.
One of the Oklahoma players?
Yeah, God.
Okay. So what'd they say? He's
one of them. I think they start God, I think.
They didn't say the whole team's got to sit out now, did they?
Yeah, they just said it just now.
Okay, I'm going to have to follow that. Yeah, we're going to do another stream tomorrow in case they do anything crazy here at the last minute. That Oklahoma-Missouri game is a tough one, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I had to let the chat know that that was going on just now.
What's his name again?
Jerron Harmon.
Let's see.
I think he's a stop point guard.
I got it up here. I got him. Yeah. Got him. All right. Yeah, I'll look more into that. I appreciate that heads up. Thank you, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you take care.
You're welcome.
See you, man. What's up, caller?
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Hey, I got some information about the Fab Five that I haven't heard you cover yet that we might want to look into. In light of us having the Lakers in the championship game, just remember Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, he was on that Fab Five team.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
So there might be some sort of connection there. Yeah, in the Fab Five documentary, Jalen Rose makes a joke about, the only reason Rob Pelinka was on the team was to keep the team GPA up. So that's something I remember there. And then with the San Diego State, during the tournament, their head coach's name is Brian Dutcher. He was an assistant coach on the Fab Five team. He's the one that's responsible for recruiting the Fab Five. So there might be a connection there as well.
And who's he with now?
San Diego State.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to win their first game there. So
Yeah,
okay.
because Steve Fisher is the coach that took over in '89. He was the interim coach in '89 when they won the championship, and I believe Brian Dutcher was an assistant on that team as well. And then obviously they retained both of them. They went on to recruit the Fab Five and do that historical thing. So I just wanted to make sure you got that information because with the Lakers possibly winning the NBA title, there could be a Rob Pelinka connection here with Juwan Howard.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
Then yesterday there was an article that came out on Yahoo Sports about Loyola Chicago.
Okay.
The article was saying that Sister Jean was going to be in attendance, and she's like the Loyola Chicago super fan.
Yeah, we've heard of her before. Yeah.
Yep. In the article, they pointed out that she was 101 years old.
Okay.
And then the quote she said in the article was, "I don't see Kentucky anyplace," and that was in quotations. So what I noticed about that is, if Loyola Chicago were to pull an upset on Illinois, they would get their 26th win, being that the article said she was 101 years old.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So, all right, man, I'm glad I got through. I was just on break at work, so I just wanted to get you that information, especially about the Rob Pelinka. There definitely could be a connection there.
Yeah, there usually is. Yeah, good observations, man. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
All right, yeah, take care. I have trouble going against Illinois, though, just because they're so perfect to be in that championship with the 4-5, 5-4 connection and just how their record would work out against Gonzaga. So I'm going to have a real hard time with that upset over. I do hear what he's saying, though. 101 to 26 prime. I mean, it's possible, but, man, that Illinois-Gonzaga really lines up. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
So I called in earlier with that Rick Pitino one. So I was looking into that a little more. And so if they do win that second game and get to 3-14, it'll be a 3 seed, or it'd be what did I say?
Well, they'd play either UConn or Maryland, so.
Nah. Okay, well, I looked ahead for, like, Texas's all-time wins. They're 35 and 37, it says, which is weird. Because it says,
oh, yeah, they could get their 38th win over Iona Gales, which is 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, if you type, it says there's 115 seasons. That's what they, like, how long Texas Longhorns of basketball. And then when you put in Rick Pitino's, like, full name, the RFR is 115, too. So
Okay.
that could also maybe line up or something. And then Rick Pitino, reverse for reduction, if you just type in that, is 65. And then Texas Longhorns full reduction is also 65. So I was saying maybe they meet up, and then Texas gets their 38th win, and then face Michigan and form that, like, 3 seed versus 1 seed, which is like 31, because Michigan, I don't know.
Well, no, they're great. They're great thoughts. I mean, it could work out that way because now that it was you just called it in and pointed out he was hired on March 14th, right? 314.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, and we were talking about that the other day. I was like, well, the bracket came out on March 14th. If they won 2, they'd be 3-14 like pie. We know they like that number.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I think it's possible.
Texas to face them and then get that 38th win against that 38th full reduction. And then that 115 seasons with Pitino with the 115.
Yeah, if Pitino does get past Alabama in the first round, we're gonna really want to look into Pitino's history versus UConn and Maryland because there's probably something there. Well, we'd want to do this now before the games are played because if he is going to get past Alabama, there's probably a riddle with why he would play UConn or Maryland based on his history. So that's another thing.
And then maybe pick up the win, against either of those teams for syncing up, hopefully,
Yeah. So.
Okay. So yeah, that's all I really had. Just wanted to mention that and see if that added to the riddle or something.
It does. I appreciate that. It's a great thought.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. Okay, so again, Texas, their 3rd win of the tournament could be the Iona Gales. If Rick Pitino can lead them to 2 wins to make them 3-14 all time in tournament history because they come in 1-14. So definitely a possibility. And Iona would be a nice payout if they win 2 games because they're a huge dog in the first game. They'd be a good dog in the next game too. Not as much as the first game, but still. Okay. Let me check in with the chat while we wait on the next call. Daniel OJ talking about if Loyola makes it to the finals. Let's see. Illinois ain't losing. I don't think they are either, man. Their riddle is there's so many things. Remember, there's just so many things we talked about. Like, again, if the coach of Illinois makes it to the championship and loses, he'll be 7-5 in the tournament. Indianapolis is 75, and he'd get his 75th career loss. And Catholic Church is 75, and we know who runs the show. All right, hold on, we got another call here from Atlanta. Survivor of the spa killings. What's up, Atlanta?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
How you doing?
Yeah, so it was me. I called in yesterday, and I guess you couldn't hear me. I accidentally had my phone plugged into my car. I was driving, trying to call in. So I was trying to say that Drake University versus the Wichita game, that Drake Bulldogs would beat them. Because I noticed some great reset numbers in the coach's name. His name is 151. His full name is 151. And we know the Great Reset and Revolution. I was the guy that called in about Revolution on the Rambo TV show, too, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so the 151 connection with the Drake University. Drake University is 201 and it's 204 and it's on Thursday, right? Which is Jupiter or Zeus. So, and the Jupiter symbol is like looks like a 21 or 24, and they're playing against the Shockers, which implies electricity, and it's all about taking out the power, taking the power outage.
Oh, sure,
like
sure, I hear you.
Yeah, so I just want to call in about that. I think that Drake University is a go against Wichita.
You think Drake's gonna win the game?
Yeah, against Wichita, yeah.
Okay. All right, appreciate that.
All right, man.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye.
Caller?
Oh, hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, this is Jonathan.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I was trying to. I called like 30 times. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, well, I think it's just because so many people are calling in. I think that's why.
Okay, hey, I just wanted to ask something real quick. To the Iona thing. You already know a lot of this, okay? So, the coach for Alabama is called Nate Oates. The word Nate equals 13 in full reduction. Alabama equals 13 in full reduction. Gales equals 91. 91 is the 13th triangular number.
Nice.
The Iona Gales overall season record is 12-5. They're going for their 13th win against Alabama. Gales are plus 1,300 on the money line. Louisville got stripped of their 2013 title.
13 again.
And Iona won the MAC title in 2013. Okay, so now here's a good part. So I don't think I heard you mention this, but so Iona College has been competing in Division I basketball since 1940. Iona is one of the founding members of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, which began play in the 81-82 season. Like you said, the 82 is big. And so the Gales have compiled the most victories of any MAC team since the founding of the conference and have won a league record 12 MAC titles. But guess what? It's not 12 anymore. That is now 13 MAC titles because they just won the MAC title this year.
Huh, okay.
So Iona has won 13 MAC titles. And they also won the MAC title in 2013. Now the thing about Rick Pitino is now that he's won that conference championship,
the 13th for Iona. That gives Rick Pitino 13 conference tournament championships. So Pitino now has 13 conference tournament championships, and Iona has 13 MAC titles.
I see. So
And
just all
this
his
is all
13.
along with
I'm just thinking, too, if he wins 2 games, he's going to get to 14-5, like 145, and Catholic's 145, and it's a Catholic school as well. Okay.
So those are I just wanted to add those other 13s to it, since we are already talking about 13, and we already know 13 is a big Alabama number anyway. And the coach's first name, Nate, equals 13 in full reduction. And then remember 2 years ago when I caught that Rick Pitino's son was the coach in Minnesota,
Right.
and Minnesota was a huge dog, and they were playing Louisville.
Yeah.
And so basically, Rick Pitino's son got revenge, got get back on Louisville.
Right.
So that was a huge ritual as well. So
Before you said that, before you just brought that up, I was just about to bring up that 2 years ago you had that great call with his son. So, yeah. Here we go again.
Yep. I mean, it's just something about Rick Pitino that they like, and I think they're gonna beat Bama.
The riddle's there, man. The riddle is there. The value is definitely there.
I mean, Bama's not known for basketball; they're known for football. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, what day was the championship game again? It was
January 7th, or I'm just going off the top of my head. Let me check.
Alabama, Ohio State championship game. I just want to see how many days it was from the game to this. It was January 11th. That's what it was. January 11th, 2021, and that game is the last game on March 20th.
This is the first time that
It's 68 days later. It's 68 days later. Basketball's 68, and so is championship. So.
Oh, wow.
That could be the trade-off. Could be the trade-off right there. Catholicism, 68, that go down to the Catholic school. Okay.
Iona's Catholic, too, right, yeah.
Alabama scored 52 points. Indiana's 52. Ohio State scored 24. Iona's 24. Alabama's on 24 wins. They can stay on 24 wins. And the coach can fall to 2-4 in the tournament. So that's interesting.
Okay, I don't know if this means anything, but Michael Wilbon, the sports announcer,
he's from Illinois.
He predicted that Iona would upset Alabama. I don't know if that means anything. I just saw that.
Okay, well, he's from Illinois, Chicago guy. Michael Wilbon. Let's see how old he is right now. He's 62 right now. November 19th birthday. Yeah. Was he doing the show? Is it still him and Tony Kornheiser? They still do that show?
Yeah, that same show. That's the show he did it on. Yep. I
was just thinking. I haven't watched that show in forever. I was still thinking if they still have that show. Okay.
Yeah. They still do it.
Yeah, that's great research, man.
Another thing is, like, it's no coincidence that the Gales are plus 1,300. I mean.
Right. It's just another 13.
But on this website that I'm trying to bet on, that I usually bet on, it's called betus.com. They won't let me bet on the money line. And I called them and I talked to a supervisor, and they're saying that they're not going to let people bet on the money line because Iona's plus 16.5.
There's a clue.
On this site.
There's a clue right there. So.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, like, why can't I bet on the money line? They're like, oh well, they're Iona's too much of an underdog. But then on there's other sites where you could just bet on the money line with no problem.
Yeah, that website doesn't want to pay out. So that's just like 5 Dimes robbed our whole community because a lot of us had futures on the Lakers on 5 Dimes, and then they said they weren't paying out on them. So yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
So that's all I had. I wanted to add to some 13s, but I guess I'll see you Sunday night. We could do something Sunday.
All right. We're going to do it. Appreciate it, Jonathan.
All right. Peace.
All right. Take care, man. All right. I know a lot of veterans are trying to call in. Here, Big Al's been trying to get in a lot. Let me call Big Al back. He's usually got some great insights. Call Ben up next. Ben's been calling in. Al, can you hear me?
All circuits are busy. Please try your calling.
I never got that before. Well, take the next call. What's up, caller?
What up, Zach? It's Oracle from Missouri.
Hey, man.
Hey, so did you get my email about Lisa Byington?
No, I didn't.
She is getting her. She's becoming the first female to call play-by-play.
Okay.
And she was born in Michigan.
Okay.
And I measured from her birth, her last birthday to April 5th is the big 322, 322 days, 46 weeks exactly. And she has an Illinois connection as well.
Okay. Okay.
So she might be a little clue like Sarah Thomas, maybe. I don't know.
No, I agree. So okay, so I'm looking. So she is. What are her connections to Michigan and Illinois? Chicago Sky. So she calls for the WNBA Chicago Sky. What's the Michigan thing?
I looked up her bio. It said that she was born in Michigan, I believe, and resides in Illinois.
Northwestern University. Is that in Illinois? That's where she went to school.
Northwestern.
Yeah, it's in Evanston, Illinois. Okay, so she went to school in Illinois and she calls games for the Chicago Sky. Yeah, Michigan, Illinois is a possibility if Gonzaga doesn't make it there.
Well, not just that, but there was an article that they put out with her, and they emphasized the word firsts. First has the same gematria as perfection, 37.
Okay.
So that I don't know, man. I just wanted to throw that clue out to you. I didn't know if it was a trap, but that's why we got.
I'm going to do some more research on it. No, I think it's important. Just like Sarah Thomas was a big clue for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, good one. Good one.
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right.
See you, man.
Yes,
okay. All right. Let's see. I'll try to call back 4 more times. Let's see if it works when I call him this time. Al, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you now.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's a chore trying to get in. I need to pick a number. Can I get a number?
I need to figure out a way to do a call board so it can be first come, first serve.
Yeah. Hey, that Missouri game, right? That was pretty tough. The Missouri game you were talking about?
Yeah.
What do you think about this, though? That game it's inside massive, they say massive Lucas Oil Stadium. And I noticed if Missouri won, they'd be 17-9, just like Lucas Oil Stadium is 179.
And now that we got this story about how the Oklahoma players got the virus, so yeah, I see what you're saying with that. That's a great observation. I missed that one. Yeah, it is in Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I got to plug that in the notes right there. That's a good one.
That's why I'm leaning on that one. So
yeah,
this is a little abstract, but if you do put because I've done this before and I've seen it line up with things. If you put in Gonzaga, like versus VS, Gonzaga versus Illinois, it equals 95. Like the year the tournament's on, 95th day of the year. So I think that's pretty interesting too.
Okay. Yeah. If Missouri did advance, they do have that 201-75 connection like Indianapolis as well. And then they'd face the Jesuit school Gonzaga, and the guy who Gonzaga is named after, his name's 201 as well. So, yeah, with the player being sick with the virus and then how the 33 can go either way, yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Missouri now, too, after that observation. That was a crucial observation right there.
Yeah, I just wanted to fire that out there for people. I know they're filling their brackets and shit out, so...
Yeah.
That's all I have for you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate that, Al.
Thanks for all that work you're putting in. Makes it a hell of a lot easier on us.
As long as I don't miss things like that. Yeah, thanks for catching that. Thank you.
All right. Later, man.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
And that's why we're going to do one more stream tomorrow, too, because I'm going to go over everything again and read up on the games. And, sometimes there's just a low-hanging fruit. Definitely look at the stadium names on the close calls, because that's a great observation. Missouri can get to 17-9, and Lucas Oil Stadium is 179 in the most straightaway cipher. Here, let me call Jeremy. Jeremy's phoning in a bunch today, too. I got to call you back as well, Ben. But I know Jeremy will have some great observations always.
Hello?
Hey, Jeremy, what's up, man?
Oh, got a bunch of March Madness to share.
I believe it.
Let's see. The first thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to put a link in the chat. And that's the Ultimate March Madness Guide. It's like 245 pages. And it's more stats than I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, it's a Reddit page. Okay, crazy.
Yeah, I read it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and then the link is within that Reddit thing, and it goes to a Dropbox.
Okay, I see the link.
It has like full breakdowns for every team, and like their shot charts, and their starting lineup, and their points per game, and an overwhelming amount of statistics.
Trying to put it up here on this so everybody can see it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I got it up there on the screen so everyone can see what you just linked us to. Why can I not zoom out? What in the world? Oh well. All right, there we go. Okay, so you catch anything out of here?
Yeah. Well, I just thought it'd be helpful for you and all the other
Yeah.
chat.
I'll do some research on this.
Well, it's pretty good for just like if you see a player that you want to key in on.
Right.
It's good if you kind of get a detailed view of like how he plays, like shoots a lot of threes or has a lot of points per game or stuff like that.
But by the way, 1987 was the first year of the three-pointer in the March Madness tournament. And that was the year Indiana won as well. So maybe we'll see some things with threes this year since it's back in Indiana. And there's these parallels to that tournament as well.
Yeah. We could. Next thing is breaking news. Sean Bradley, the former, like the tall...
The very tall guy. I told the story where Sean Bradley made fun of my fat friend after a Blazers game. What happened to Sean Bradley?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of sad news. He had a bicycle accident.
Oh my God, paralyzed.
Paralyzed.
Didn't he play at BYU?
Yeah, I looked it up. BYU.
Yeah, he's a big Mormon. His birthday is March 22nd, huh?
Yeah, and he played for the 76ers. He's 7'6" tall, and today's the 76th day of the year, and bicycle accident equals 76.
Wow.
And it says he had his accident on January 20th, so I guess they waited 2 months to announce it, or maybe he was...
This is tournament related.
And anyway, you showed Indiana established date earlier in the stream. I noticed it was established January 20th, the same day that he had his bike accident.
Huh.
And that was 56 days ago.
Huh. Yeah. What's up with that?
Now, see, he also played for the Dallas Mavericks.
He played for the Nets as well, with all the 56 stuff going on with them in the NBA.
Yeah. So maybe BYU and Texas would meet, because he played in Texas, and he went to college at BYU.
Wasn't I saying that it made a lot of sense for Yeah, I was saying BYU and Texas Longhorns should meet. Yeah.
So we'll have to look into that more to see. And like he was in that Space Jam movie, and now they're about to have the second Space Jam with LeBron.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that is wild.
So there's that. Next thing I want to talk about is an upset alert. I think there's a possibility that Ohio State could get upset in the first round by Oral Roberts.
Really? Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, so the Ohio State coach is Chris Holtman, and he has 201 wins right now.
Yeah.
So if he lost, he would get stuck on that. And Ohio State Buckeyes is 201. If you write it ST, not...
Oh, I was going to say, how come I didn't notice that? Okay, with an abbreviation. Do they do it that way? Is that fair?
I I'm not sure, because I know on the bracket, every team that has a state, it just puts the abbreviation. So I did it both ways. I was just kind of see. I wouldn't put as much weight on it, but I did check it.
Okay.
Yeah, both methods. So anyway, he has
I
128 losses.
was just going to point out it's also 75 that way, and if the coach of Ohio State won, he would become 7-5 in the tournament like Indianapolis. But go ahead.
Yeah. The most interesting thing is 129. So he comes in with 128 losses. So if he got his 129, Oral Roberts Golden Eagles is 129.
I missed that.
His birthday is 11/11, and that's 129 days after his birthday, the game.
I missed that. Let me see. Those are great observations. That'd be a big upset right there. Let's see.
And he also has 43 losses at Ohio State, so he could get his 44th. The Buckeyes is 44, and the opposing coach is Paul Mills, who was born on 4/4, and also 44 associated with killing and losing and stuff like that.
Okay.
The opposing coach Paul Mills comes in 55 and 66, so he's going for his 56th win. Golden Eagles is 56. Paul Mills is 56. So you'd have the combination of 201 and 56 coming together, the Jesuit numbers. ORU's going for their 17th win. Ohio State's the 17th state. And then I was looking at their roster and stats and whatnot, and their best player is named Max Abmas. It's like Abmas, I believe is how it's spelled. But he's the top scoring player in the country in points per game. And so his name, Abmas, is 36. Max Abmas is 36. His full first name, Maxwell, is 36. And this is the 36th March Madness of the modern era.
Huh.
And he went to high school at Jesuit High School in Dallas.
Huh. Okay.
And he's a short guy. He's like 6 foot, barely 6'1" or something. And he looks like Steph Curry out there just shooting threes and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if it gets hot and they turn the magnets on.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that is really interesting. I missed that whole 129 thing. Yeah, that is huge. And then they would stay on 201 in Indianapolis. Interesting. They'd also stay on 21 total wins for the year. Yeah.
Jonathan just pointed out that national championship of Ohio State and Alabama. Well, the Alabama coach, this will be his 201st game coaching, Nate Oates. So I was like, man, what if Alabama and Ohio State both lost, and this is 68 days after
in basketball championship, right? Yeah, it could be a ritual like that. That is very true. That is very true. Okay.
That'd be a crazy parlay because both of those teams are like
huge odds. Right now. Yeah, $5 on both of them winning together would become over $100. So
100 to 1 odds if you parlay those two.
Yeah. That's those are. I'm glad you caught all that because I missed the whole 129 thing. I locked into the 7 and 5 thing. I was thinking it would go there, but yeah, I see this 129. So it looks like the game is 128 days after his birthday, or is 129th day of his age. So. Yeah.
And Ohio State's 21-9 coming in, shuffling of the
those numbers, right? Yep. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's birthday is September 12th, and his birth numerology is 129 too. It just makes me wonder if there's something more to 129 in Indiana since he was playing for the Indianapolis Colts. But I just remember when I think 129, I always think of Andrew Luck.
That's funny because that's my birthday. I have the same birthday.
Oh, September 12th, your birthday?
Yeah.
I won't forget that now. All right. Happy belated. So.
6 months late.
Yeah, sorry, man. I won't forget next time.
But anyway, I mean, it's hard to. Well, I was looking at Ohio State's track record for the season. They lost 4 straight games to finish out the season before the Big Ten tournament. But then they did good in the Big Ten tournament. So I don't know if they're kind of weak.
Okay.
Playing in a slump. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to trust a 15. It's hard to trust a 15, but
The reason I probably just didn't even dig deep on this game, and I should have looked harder, but I just saw on the surface that if Oral Roberts lost, their coach would get his 67th loss on the 19th, and 67 is the 19th prime. But yeah, I see this 129 possibility. I mean, it's there. So yeah, I got to do a small parlay with that one. It's got wings.
you got the 201 in there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know that's their big number.
Indeed. So the Alabama coach, we're saying he's coached 201 total games.
He's coached 200, so this will be his 201st.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Alabama as a school has 17 wins, so they could get stuck on that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Their franchise record is 1,717.
Yeah. Well, that. Yeah, it is, man. It is, and again, you guys, these are small parlays that can pay a fortune. I mean, $5 on Iona and Oral Roberts upsetting, and then that would be funny because you would see the riddle: Alabama and Ohio State. It's 68 days after the football game. Basketball 68, championship 68, Catholicism 68, mathematics is 68. That they could do something like that. So. And it's a 2 seed and a 15 seed in both games. I'm just thinking about that more too. 2-15, if there's something with that. But yeah, good one.
Yeah. The next thing I did was I kind of looked through the South region because that's the one we haven't really solved for the Final Four yet. And I think Arkansas has a pretty decent riddle to possibly get to the Final Four.
Arkansas.
So, yeah. So their coach's name is Eric Musselman, and he came over from Nevada a couple of years ago, and Nevada was good when he was there. And they actually lost to Loyola the year that Loyola made the Final Four. But Eric Musselman equals 82. Fayetteville AR, like the where their school is 82, and then Musselman equals 45, 117, and 54, just like a match to Illinois. So if he got to the Final Four and faced Illinois, that would match up.
They have one of the biggest rituals in their opening game. Just how their coach can get the 153rd win, and the Colgate coach can become 153 and 153. So yeah, they do have my eye, and it's a 3 versus 14 in the brackets at 314. Yeah.
Is there a mathematical property to 153?
It's the 17th triangular. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot about the 153 thing.
Oh, Big Al just texted right now. He said, "Don't forget the Ohio State quarterback went to 20-1."
Oh yeah, Justin Fields.
For another 201.
Yeah. Let's see. Musselman, his birthday is November 19th, and so if he got to the Elite Eight, that game would be on March 30th, or March 29th, or March 30th. And that's 131 days after his birthday, so he could get to the Final Four or advance to the Final Four, with the 131.
And he's in the same bracket as Illinois? Baylor.
No, he's in
Baylor.
He's in the Baylor region.
Yeah.
Arkansas is 21, so they could have a good season in 21.
Right.
They come in 22 and 6, so if they won 4 games to get to the Final Four, they'd be 26 and 6, like the Pope number.
Right.
So then I looked at the 1989 tournament, and in that tournament, Arkansas was a 5 seed, and they were in the same region as Illinois, and Illinois was a 1 seed, and they both played at the Indianapolis host site in that tournament.
Ah.
And Arkansas beat Loyola Marymount, and then they lost to Louisville, and then Illinois won. They won their games, and I think they won that region.
Interesting.
I was just like, what? They were both in Indianapolis in that tournament?
Yeah, that's a great historical catch. Yeah.
And then they have a top 10 draft prospect named Moses Moody, so they have a star power on their team.
Okay.
And they have 6 Final Fours in school history, so they
Moses.
can try to go for 7.
Moses equals 17 in the most pure cipher, just in light of that 153 thing going on in the first round. And he's going to NBA. NBA likes it 17.
Oh, yeah, that is true. LeBron and all his 17s.
Moses Malone died the other year for Kobe's last game, along with Daryl Dawkins.
Yeah. And Arkansas has 6 Final Fours in their school history, so they're going for 7 in the year of 7, like Brady, Dodgers, Saban, all that stuff.
Wait, what's the 7 they can get?
They have 6 Final Fours in their school history. So
Ah.
their 7th Final Four.
Man, I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, I will. Your catch with 1989 and them in Illinois is really good.
Eric Musselman's middle name is Patrick. Eric Patrick Musselman, like Patrick Mahomes and Thomas Edward, Patrick Brady, and Patrick Ewing. Been a big name this year.
Yeah, it has. You're right about that.
See, he has 42 wins at Arkansas. Arkansas has 42 school tournament wins. So if they got 4, that would put them both at 46. March Madness 46. So yeah, that was enough for me to think they at least have a decent shot at it.
Yeah, that is interesting because so if they won 4 to get to the Final Four, they'd be 46 and 32. March Madness 46, 32 a big number at emphasis. Yeah. Did they win the championship when Bill Clinton was president? Bill Clinton could become part of the riddle.
They won in 94.
Yeah, Bill Clinton was president then. That's how it works. Bill Clinton from Arkansas.
I searched Arkansas on your blog to see if there was any recent news stories, and I saw that there was a school shooting in Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
That was wasn't that the Watson Chapel High School shooting? Is that the same one? Same day J.J. Watt went to Arizona?
Yeah, I think it was March 1st.
Yeah. Right at the start of March Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you found here with Arkansas because I have been thinking about them because I was like, wow, they have one of the most interesting riddles in the opening round. So.
Yeah. And then I was looking at that stat sheet or whatever for their team, and they lost 4 out of 5 games earlier in the season, but that's because they had one of their best players get injured, like their big man.
Sure.
Justin Smith got injured.
Sure.
So they lost those games because he was injured, and then they've been on a tear ever since. So I was like, maybe they're kind of just a worse seed just because they lost those games, but now they're back to full strength. So they may even be better than a 3.
Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the school is, equals 314, like how the bracket came out on Pi Day. And it's also 73, like how that's the 73rd day of the year. It's also 226, which Lucas Oil Stadium has connected, and that's where the Final Four is. So they got serious numbers. I'm about to just jump the gun and put them right in the Final Four here because it's the one where I'm torn on. But yeah, I'm liking this more and more right here. Yeah.
And then the Bob Knight, did you know that he has 45 tournament wins in his coaching career?
Oh, does he really? I should have looked that up, man. Why didn't I look that up?
It says he's 45 and 25 in the tournament.
Yep, 45 and 25. There it is.
After he left Indiana, he coached at Texas Tech for a while.
Okay. That's right.
I noticed like Arkansas could play Texas Tech in the next game.
Yeah. 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 Huh. You know what's funny? You know what's funny, man? He finished with 242 losses with Indiana, and Gonzaga Bulldogs is 242.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
I used to go to some of his games.
Yeah? Oh, sure, because you were right down there. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in
Now, since you were so even closer, didn't everybody call him Bobby Knight? I don't remember people calling him Bob Knight. I always remember it being Bobby Knight.
they're kind of interchangeable from what I remember.
Okay. Okay.
Bob Knight. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? He finished with 82 losses with Texas Tech as well, and here we are in this 82nd tournament where they're going to be this big old ritual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's see. I started college in 2006, so he was kind of right there when I was in high school and college. So
Sure. Yeah.
back when I didn't know it was rigged.
Yeah. I didn't know how rigged it was back then either, so I had my suspicions.
Let's see.
You're just a little baby, 2006, man.
Yeah. I'm only like 4 years. I think I'm only like 4 years younger than you.
Well, yeah, we're close. I graduated from high school in 2001, so right before the buildings blew up,
5 years younger.
right before the world changed.
So yeah. You see anything else in Musselman's record? He went to college at San Diego. I know there was kind of some stuff happening in San Diego recently.
Well, San Diego just had the cars crashing in the crowd the other day. I think that San Diego State team looks good for at least a first-round win.
Musselman is 56 years old right now.
You know, if somehow he, I don't, I can't see it. The riddle with Illinois is too good for Gonzaga, but yeah, if he just got 4 more wins, the 46, it would be 46 wins for him with Arkansas and 46 wins with the program, and March Madness is 46. So I'm really liking the thought of them getting to the Final Four now. There's a lot of reason to believe.
Yeah. See, somebody in the chat said something about the last time that all 4 number 1 seeds got there, Kansas won.
And Kansas coach has the same birthday as Mark Few, Bill Self and Mark Few.
Yeah. I don't really see anything like in Baylor's records or Gematria or anything that makes me like think that they could get there, but
There was nothing really screaming out to me about Baylor either. I like Arkansas more. Arkansas's got the better numbers.
yeah. And then with the possibility of Ohio State getting upset, I was like, I don't think I'd put them going too far. But
Yeah, Mark Few and Bill Self are literally born on the exact same day, December 27th, 62. Mark Few went to Oregon, and he graduated from Oregon in 87, which is the year that Bobby Knight won the championship 34 years ago, and Indiana's 34 in the most pure cipher. That's funny. Well, that makes me think, okay, who's Oregon playing again in the first round? I didn't realize that Mark Few went to Oregon.
playing VCU.
VCU. If Oregon wins, they get their 21st win. Jesuits 21. They got the whole Nike. That Nike's 21 as well. Yeah, that's probably going to happen just in tribute to Mark Few. Okay.
I noticed another thing about Kelvin Sampson, the guy who was talking about him earlier. He coached at Oklahoma for a while, and then you just had that player test positive. But I don't know how much of a narrative. I mean, Oklahoma State's only going to win 1 game, if any, but Kelvin Sampson did coach at Oklahoma for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to have to explore that more, too. I didn't know about any of that before you called in.
Without their best player, though, imagine it'd be pretty tough for them to beat Missouri.
Yeah, Big Al's catch on Missouri getting to 17-9 makes some good sense. So
yeah, I think that was the main points that I wanted to
Well, great points as always, Jeremy. I appreciate it, man. We'll do one more tomorrow.
Alrighty.
All
I
right.
guess you're doing the full video show tonight about March Madness.
Yeah, I'm just going to announce that March Madness is open for calls tonight to see if we get some more contributions. So, all right, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I guess I'll call back if I find anything else.
Sounds good. You have a good night, friend.
All right.
See you, man.
Later.
What's up, 423?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I got some more information about Patino.
Okay.
So from his September 18th birthday to March the 28th is 191 days of his age, and that's the Sweet 16.
That's that Society of Jesus number. It's just for people people don't know.
Iona wins 2, they hit that 56 for another Society. Well, yeah, I think Society of Jesus.
Yep, it's 191 and 56. So.
Okay, and then if they lose in the Sweet 16, Iona's overall record will be 14-6, and Rick Pitino equals 146.
Say it again. Say that one more time.
If Iona wins 2 and loses in the Sweet 16, Iona's overall record is 14-6, and Rick Pitino equals 146.
Oh wow. Yeah. So first they'd hit 14 and 5, and Catholics 145, and it's a Catholic school. And yeah, I see that 14 and 6, Rick Pitino 40. Yeah, very good, man. That makes a lot of sense. And so you're saying that game where he would lose is 191 days after his birthday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Sweet 16, 191st, and with the 3 and 15, Iona all time in the postseason, that would kind of match up to the odds of March, where they just donated the $100 million for reparations.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also just wanted to say that Iona's a plus 4,000 on to get to the Sweet 16. So I went ahead and put 10 on that, so that's 1,400 if that does pay off. So that plus 4,000 is looking, kind of decent right now.
Yeah, that's a nice payout if it hits. Yeah, very good.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Great research. All right. So here, let me just confirm all that real quick. The Sweet 16, March 27th and 28th. Rick Pitino's got that September 18th birthday. So March 27th is 190 days after his birthday, or his 191st day of his age. If he played March 28th, it would be 191 days after his birthday. So either way, it's going to work out. So that is correct. Caller?
Hey, how's it going, Zach? Calling in again.
Hey, I appreciate they're calling in with the information, but after this one, let's not call back because there's still just a million people trying to get in, and people haven't gotten in for the first time. But go ahead.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Sure. Go ahead. You've had good calls.
I'm doing Iona again. I'll be really quick with Iona again. So they can become 3 and 15 all time, and they'll be the 15 seed and face the 3 seed. So it'll be like a 3 versus 15. They're playing on TBS. So TBS EO is 41, which is 13. The full reduction is 5. They can stay on 5 losses. And then so the RO is 40. The RFR is 22. So Oates, the coach for Alabama, his record with Bama is 40 and 21 right now. So he can fall to 40 and 22, just like TBS. And then Nate, he could also get his 65th loss of all time. And then Rick Pitino, reverse row reduction, is 65 too. So I just wanted to add those two. And then Oates, RO is 53, which is a 16 prime, so he might have a connection to 16. And then he'll stay on 136 all-time wins, which is the 16th triangle.
Very cool. Yeah, great research.
All right. Yep.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
All right, peace.
See you. Providence, speaking of Rick Pitino, what's up, Providence?
What's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
I just got a quick question because I kind of tuned in late. I heard the last caller say that somebody can get the 7th Final Four appearance.
Arkansas.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking the 7's definitely going to play somehow, some way in this tournament. Maybe a team picks up their 7th loss on the last game, or something like that, or the coach gets a seventh, or the seven is definitely going to play. So that's what I'm trying to tap in on.
Well, something we should look up just to make sure, in case we're getting blindsided by anything, we should check. You're right, because seven's been huge. We should make sure there's not like a university that's sitting on 6 titles right now and could get a 7th. I'd hate to get blindsided by that. So
yeah, that's all I'm saying. Because once I heard that Final Four 7, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna do that. And then Arkansas sitting on 6 losses too, so I like them now. I wasn't even thinking about them, but after I just heard what you guys are talking about, and I see that they're sitting on 6 losses, and they can get to their 7 Final Fours, like I like that a lot. You know what I'm saying?
it does make a lot of sense. Come on, I need a tally here.
So what's the top 4 you think right now, Zach? I'm like my top 4 right now gotta be Arkansas, obviously Gonzaga, Michigan, and Illinois.
I think all those ones are going to make it. I think Gonzaga and Illinois is a very, very likely matchup for the championship. And again, with what we documented with because again, if Gonzaga and Michigan meet in the Final Four, it'll be on Mark Few's 98th day of his age, and Michigan Wolverines is 98 in the most pure cipher. So I think they're meeting.
Can any of those teams catch a 7?
Well, that's what I gotta count. So like here, I'm gonna see Michigan. Let me see. I gotta take off my glasses so I can see. Okay, I'm trying to see how many times Michigan's been the champion. I don't think they've been champion 6 times. They won in '89. I think that's the only time they won. Okay, so Michigan hasn't won 6 championships. Pretty sure Illinois hasn't won 6 championships. I think the team that's won the most championships ever is UCLA, but they wouldn't win their 7th. They've won a ton.
Yeah, so that's key. If we can find that, somebody's sitting on 6 and they're a good seed. I mean, yeah, sitting on 6 and we got a good shot. I like that a lot.
Okay.
I noticed that they had Ohio State ranked number 7, like overall. They got Gonzaga first, and then they got Ohio State 7. So maybe they get upset with the Alabama. I'm liking that thing. I heard too what you guys say on that. That makes perfect sense. Alabama and Ohio State to either win or lose together that day, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think there's a team here that can get their 7th championship. I'm just scanning it. I checked Kansas. Kansas has been there more times than that. They can't win their 7th.
How about 7th appearance?
I was checking to see like if Kansas could be their 7th appearance, because there's only so many schools that have been to a ton of games, like Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA. Kentucky's not even in it. So North Carolina. Hold on, let me check North Carolina. North Carolina, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. North Carolina, 8. North Carolina's won it 8 times.
Hey Zach, can we figure out the coach's record? Did you put that up just for the tournament? The coach's record all the time, or just in the actual tournament?
No, so the one that I did yesterday that was just for the team. I updated the document, so now you have the team tournament record, the coach's record in the tournament, and the coach's all-time record, and their record with the team they're currently with. So that document from yesterday is updated with all that information.
Okay, so you put the team, the coach's record for the tournament, because maybe a coach can pick up his 7th win or 7th loss in the tournament.
That's a good thought right there. Yeah. So we'd want to look for coaches who are sitting on. It would have to be a coach who would have to come in with 1 win right now. He'd have to come in with 1 win to win 6 more to win the championship and get 7. So, yeah, those are things we could check.
I was thinking maybe 7th loss is probably going to be more logical, especially if Gonzaga is going to win. Then they're going to probably give somebody the 7th loss, or if Michigan wins. So, did you say Arkansas? You guys like Arkansas going up against Illinois? Was it?
Yeah, because Jeremy noticed that 32 years ago they played each other in that tournament that has parallels to this one, and they played each other in Indiana. So
where would they meet up? Would they meet up?
They'd meet up in the Final Four. That'd be the Final Four. No. They'd meet up in the Elite Eight. I mean, they'd meet up. No. Yeah, they'd meet up in the Final Four. That's right. They'd meet up in the Final Four.
All right. So we got down to the teams that get that. It can't be Michigan and and Gonzaga, right?
No, they will meet in the Final Four. They can only meet in the Final Four.
So yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, so I'm definitely liking the Gonzaga thing. It's just like everything we documented so far. I like that, but I just think their opponent is gonna somehow something with a 7 gotta hit. I just feel so. Once I figure that out, then I'll be able to fully go all in. And then another school that I was like, there's a long shot on that only one commentator talked about, but I like them for different reasons. Is Texas to put some work in, because they're also sitting on 6 losses too. So basically, a lot of teams with like 6 losses and they're like plus 3,000. I'll slap a little something on them. You know what I mean?
Texas, we were saying Texas, if Iona wins 2 games, Texas would be perfect to play Iona because they'd get their 38th tournament win in the Sweet 16, and Iona Gales is 38. And Minnesota's 38, and Rick Pitino's son just got, I think he was fired at Minnesota 38 right as the tournament's about to begin, so it seems like it's a trade-off. His son taking the sacrifice.
Fact. I like Texas because Kevin Durant, he changed his number to 7, and do they got 7 losses?
They're on 7 losses right now. They sure are.
They're on 7 losses, so they would have to win out, which I don't think would happen. They would be 25.
Well, I think I saw the same bit you saw, because there's a guy that likes Texas, and he thinks that they'll beat Michigan because Michigan, he didn't think they'd have Livers, and he said, I don't think they can beat Texas without him. So Texas would be a team to keep an eye on if we're wrong about Michigan, but I think Michigan's going to be there. So. Because Michigan won the tournament in '89, which is connected to this year's tournament, and Michigan was the last team that a team went 32-0 against, which was Indiana. So that's why I feel like Gonzaga's got to go over them as part of the ritual. So.
Yeah, and I'm kind of rooting, even though Gonzaga, the money's low, but I'm rooting for Gonzaga to win and go 32-0 because then I like Chiefs even more to win this year and them to be 3-2 in Super Bowls. Chiefs equal 32. So I'm actually rooting for Gonzaga to win because then I already like the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna really, really like the Chiefs if they go 32-0. So
I want Gonzaga to win too, so I can go dance all over their campus and show them how rigged it was. So.
Yes, man. Well, I appreciate you, man, listening. All your thoughts. I'll keep listening.
All right, appreciate it. Take care, man.
All right, brother.
See you.
Yep.
All right, I got to call Ben back. Ben's been trying to get in, and I know Ben's got a gem for us. Hopefully he's still there.
Hello.
Hey, Ben, it's Zach. You still free?
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to give I don't have too much, but I wanted to give what I have. So, you probably said this at some point, but I didn't hear you say it, so I just want to make sure. If Gonzaga and Illinois play each other, Illinois equals 99, and it's 99 days after
Mark Few's birthday. Yep. Yes,
birthday.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So 100th day of his age, but 99 days later. And with regards to the whole Clinton thing, with Arkansas, if they played Illinois, remember Hillary's from Chicago, and
right.
I'm pretty sure Clinton's father was killed on a drive back from Chicago.
He was.
Right?
That's right.
Right. So Arkansas and Illinois in the Final Four could make sense from that regard. And
hey, while you're saying that, I'm going to tell people we should go back and look at that tournament the year that Arkansas won it in '94, right after Bill Clinton became president. There's probably something there with that too. So.
Yeah, probably. So that's what I think. Now I did notice some. So the first two the round of 64 games are on the 78th.
Hey, Ben, hold your thought. Yeah. I just thought about something too. April 3rd is the date of the Final Four games, which is the 93rd day of the year. That is the year Bill Clinton became president as well. So, yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And I don't know. I'm trying to think. You know, I know the OKC bombing was during his presidency. But I still like Missouri in that game between Missouri and Oklahoma. Just because of what Al pointed out, and the Oklahoma player testing positive.
Right.
But the one game I wanted to talk about, I think there's a chance that Morehead State could upset West Virginia. And the reason I think that is because their full name is the Morehead State Eagles, and Eagles equals 113, which is the 30th prime, and West Virginia can get their 30th March Madness loss to the Eagles.
Okay.
Also, Morehead can become 7-8 in March Madness all time on the 78th day of the year.
Hey, hold on. You said Morehead State Eagles is 113?
No, just Eagles.
Oh yeah, I know Eagles alone is 113. That's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just Eagles is 113, the 30th prime. West Virginia can get their 30th loss. Morehead State can become 7-8 in the March Madness all time against West Virginia, which equals 78 on the 78th day of the year. And those are some other Jesuit clues too, because the first two games are on the 78th and 79th days of the year. Jesuit and Society of Jesus. Also, it's a date with 43 numerology. The 19th, March 19th, 3 plus 19 plus 21. 43, the 14th prime. I mean, just knowing that it's a 14 date numerology, there could be a storyline with the 14 seed. That's just what I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah, you make some good observations there. I know those prime numbers are usually good in basketball, just how the Morehead can get the 8th loss on the 19th and West Virginia can get the 19th win. And then there's that thing with the coach getting his 310th win and staying on 170 losses. But yeah, you made some observations there. And then as you were saying that, I was like, well, I just realized that Morehead could improve to 7-8 in tournament history. And I remember West Virginia's 78 because we had that prediction last year that the last state to get coronavirus would be West Virginia. And we'd hear about the news on the 78th day of the year, which is exactly what happened. So, yeah, there are some things there for that one. You're right.
Yeah. And Morehead State equals 217, kind of like a 21/7 the day the Jesuits were suppressed. And your birthday. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just thinking that could be a thing too. That could also just be why they're in the tournament, because I've never seen them in the tournament before. It's not very often that they make it. I'm trying to think. What did you? I'm sorry. I missed like the first half of the video because I was at work. But who did you have in the? I can go back and look. But who did you have in the Oklahoma State Liberty?
I don't remember. The only thing for Liberty was that they could keep Oklahoma State on 20 wins because Liberty's the Flames and Flames is 20. But I saw that the Oklahoma State coach's next win is 72 and Oklahoma State Cowboys is 72 and so is Jesuit Order. They could stay on 8 losses on the 19th and they can get that 21st win of the season. I suspect there'll be some 21s around since it's 2021. Yeah. The bracket came out on the 73rd day. All I saw for Liberty was just holding them to 20 wins.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think that'll be it for them, or do you think that there's a potential for them to go more than one round?
Who's that? Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm gonna do one more decode tomorrow because I was just so focused on the first round. I got to do like my next layer of analysis where I see, okay, let's make sure that this lines up for the next round. So that I'll talk more about that. But yeah, I didn't have an opinion on where they go from there.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Also, Eagles equals 32 as well. Going back to Morehead State, Eagles is 32, and 32 should be a big number with this tournament. So
I think West Virginia, can't they get their 32nd win?
Can they? Oh,
yeah, they can get their 32nd. That would be their 32nd win.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant to put that on there.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a narrative for Morehead, but the more you talk about it, the less likely it seems. I'm just trying to look for.
I know the prime numbers in college basketball and the dates have historically been very good for us, so it's tough to go against that. But you're right, there is a little bit of a narrative there, and there are always upsets in the first round of the tournament, so you want to see where they could happen because different people. I always advise you, put together small cards on things that seem unlikely because a small bet can turn into a lot with this knowledge. So.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely could.
You could have a dollar card on Morehead State with Iona and And what's that other school that can beat Ohio State? I mean, $1 in those 3 games come through, your dollar will be $100. So
yeah, throw Utah State on top of it. Who knows?
yeah, Utah State looked pretty good. So
yeah. All right, well, I'll let the rest of the callers get in. Just wanted to point that out about that game and also the possible Clinton connection. But yeah, thanks for calling back, and I'll talk to you later.
all right, good work, Ben. You take care, man.
All right,
See ya.
bye.
Okay. If we got any more calls, we can take them. If not, we can wrap it up. Like I said, we're going to do another live stream tomorrow. And I'm thinking I'm going to start at later in the evening time, probably close to 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, just because the first 4 games will be wrapping up. And I kind of want to see what they do in those games. I want to see if I can, because we might be able to catch a big clue that'll help us out with some of our question marks right now. But going to do a lot more analysis. I'm going to read about the team since I really don't have any college basketball IQ right now since I have not been watching at all. But again, in years past, I haven't really had to watch the games to do well either. It's just know the riddles, but if you know about the games, it can be helpful. So hold on, we got another call here coming from Michigan. What's up, Michigan?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I had some pretty interesting stuff in the for the first 4 games. So did you actually even did you have any who you liked in the first 4? You said you didn't really like the first 4 games, right?
That's what I said, right?
But yeah, in the Texas Southern game, what I seen was the coach, he can get his 352nd all-time win. It's a coach, 352nd all-time win against Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers, and Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers equals 352.
Hold on. That sounds like a really good observation right there. So hold on. Let me confirm all this.
I can't fade that.
All right, Texas Southern. They're the historically black college, which got a lot of love in the All-Star game. And let's see, their coach, pulling him back up here, Johnny Jones. So he's on 351 wins, which is a special number. The Jesuit motto, for the greater glory of God, is 351. You know what I realized? He's on 272 losses, and that was the big number that was just in the article, because on the Ides of March, the Jesuit order out at Georgetown pledged $100 million for reparations for slavery, and they said it's because Georgetown's former leaders owned 272 slaves. So 351 is a big Jesuit number, and then 272 is what's in the article, and this is a historically black college. And then they're playing the Catholic school. And so you're saying that this Mount St. Mary's, when you write it out?
Yep, equals 352, the whole name. It's 352nd all-time.
Let me see. I'm putting it in right now. Yeah, that's really good, man. That's really good. It's hard to say that. That's really good right there. Yeah, good catch. Yeah, that makes me like that one a lot more. Also, if Mount St. Mary's loses to Texas Southern, their coach will get his 54th loss, and Texas Southern's 54. So that did jump out there. Mm-hmm. And hold on, if Texas.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen, the coach, the Mountaineers coach, if he won't get his 33rd win. The Tigers is 33, but I think that.
That 352 is better, man. That's the full school name.
Yeah, that's too strong.
Yeah, and it's in a good cipher too. Sometimes when that stuff's in the reverse cipher, it'll burn you. But when it's in that most simple cipher, that's very consistent. So, I like that. I like that. Plus, you got it on both sides. The Mount St. Mary's coach can get his 54th loss, and Texas Southern's 54, and then the Texas Southern coach can get his 352nd win, and Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers is 352. So that looks pretty good.
How do they do this stuff, man?
They do it year after year, man. You just got to catch it. It's just like even aware of it. Like I somehow I missed that until you called in, so I'm glad you caught it.
Yep. And then in the UCLA and Michigan State game, I seen if UCLA wins, they'll be 18-9, and the game is in West Lafayette, Indiana, and West Lafayette equals 189.
Just West Lafayette alone's 189.
Yep, go 18-9.
I see that. And which, here I'm putting it up again. Which school is it that can go 18-9?
UCLA.
And the game's on the 18th. That's something to think about because, yeah. So let's see. UCLA could pick up their 18th win. So could Appalachian State. It's interesting that both those teams can get the 18th win on the 18th. But yeah, you're right. UCLA could improve to 18-9 in the building in the city that's 189. That's true. Okay.
Yep, and then I had something else. Oh yeah, it was one thing I seen in that San Diego and Syracuse game was kind of scary. If Syracuse wins, they get the 69th all-time NCAA tournament win, and San Diego State Aztecs equals 69, the most paired cipher.
Say it again.
If Syracuse wins, they get the 69th all-time NCAA tournament win, and San Diego State Aztecs equals 69 in full reduction.
Oh, so you're saying you could see San Diego State losing?
Yeah, I mean it was just that. It's kind of scary, you know, because it's in the most pure cipher. That's 69.
Hold up. San Diego State Aztecs, 69, the most pure cipher, and Syracuse.
Yep, Syracuse gets the 69th all-time win.
Tournament win.
Tournament.
How did I miss that?
Yep.
Let me see. Where they at? Yeah, you're right. They sure could, man. I missed that. Well, that's another great catch. Okay.
Yep. Then I had, I think, was it one more thing? I don't know if you really look at them against the spread records. One thing I seen for North Texas, if they cover the spread, you know how big I was just talking about Lucas Oil Stadium, 179. North Texas covers the spread, they'll be 17-9 against the spread in the Lucas Oil Stadium. Lucas Oil Stadium is 179.
And that was North Texas. Wait, which school is that?
Yeah, I'm thinking North Texas, like plus 7.5.
Okay, if they cover the spread, okay. You said they'd be 17-9 against the spread if they cover.
Yep, at the Lucas Oil Stadium, which equals 179.
Okay. Okay, that's a good catch too.
Yep, and then that was pretty much it. But then I know you talking about, you know, the Texas Tech coaching get the 59th all-time loss. Utah State Aggies is 55, and that game is in Bloomington, Indiana, and Bloomington equals 55 in the most pure cipher as well.
Yeah, so double 55 thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good catch too. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Okay, yeah, so Texas Southern looks pretty good over Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Okay. And UCLA, you like them getting to 18-9 in West Lafayette on the 18th. Yeah, I don't think those are bad calls, man. So, good observations.
All right, yep.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah, see you.
Yep, have a good one.
What's up, 720?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
I'm going to mute my video here. All right. This is David from Colorado area, Denver. I called him the other night about the Baylor and Baylor Bears. One thing I did see with them, if they did make it to the title game, Gonzaga is currently perfect against them, 0-5. So that's another perfect riddle.
Oh, so you're saying they could go 6-0 against Baylor and Indianapolis, which is 60 in the most pure cipher?
Yeah, and, they pick up their sixth loss, which is, 21 equals a 6 triangular, and 2021, Jesuit 21.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation. That is an interesting observation. That's a good one. So.
And that game also got canceled. They were supposed to play earlier this year, back on December 5th. that game got canceled due to COVID.
Okay. Hey, just on that same thought, I just realized something that I didn't mention before. If they did play Illinois, they could become 3-5 against Illinois all time, and Gonzaga's 35, Catholic's 35, and Perfect's 35. So, but yeah.
Who's that, Baylor?
That's if Gonzaga beat Illinois, they'd be 3-5 against them all time.
Yeah. And then a couple other things I saw. It's about the Rutgers and Clemson game. This is Rutgers' first NCAA appearance since 1991. It's 30 years ago. But in 1976, y'all been talking about that tournament. Rutgers made it to their only Final Four appearance. They lost to Michigan. They were unbeaten going into the tournament, along with Indiana, which is kind of weird. Also, in 1991, which was their last tournament, Rutgers' last tournament appearance, their best player was Keith Hughes. He was a Syracuse transfer. He passed away 7 years ago. I don't know from what. I couldn't find why he died. He died at the age of 45. Rutgers equal 45, and they could potentially play Syracuse in the Sweet 16. Yeah.
Here, just pause real quick for everybody. I was really big on San Diego State beating Syracuse, but now that I was missing a huge thing there with that 69th all-time win and the most Pierce cipher against the full school name. I'm gonna have to back up on what I was saying about San Diego State. I almost feel better about Syracuse now. So you're making a connection if Syracuse and Rutgers face each other?
Yeah. Also, a couple other things. If Rutgers were to make the Sweet 16 and beat Syracuse potentially, I'm just putting out a theory. If they beat Syracuse, they would meet Illinois in the Elite Eight, is what I got. And their coach, Steve Pikel, he's currently coming in with 271 all-time wins. And if he had 3 wins, that would put him at 274. Rutgers Scarlet Knights equal 274 in the Pierce cipher.
Interesting. Okay. Rutgers does have a good riddle to beat Clemson in the opening round. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of my dark horse. They're not going to beat Illinois by any means. I think Illinois is a Final Four team. But, yeah, there was just a few things I saw. And then I like Iana, of course. Everyone's on them to win. One big note I did have on them, in the 1980 was supposed to be their only tournament win because everyone's saying they're 1-14 coming in. But technically, the NCAA took away those wins, so they're technically 0-13, and that's another Alabama 13 riddle.
Okay. Interesting. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's about all I got for now. I know you got your other show coming up, so I'll let you move on out.
All right. Great research, man. Thank you.
All right. Later.
See you. Okay. Let's do, if they're still out there, let's do about 10 more minutes of calls, and then we'll wrap it up. Because I got to eat something, and then I got to start the radio show. And I'll tell people on the radio show tonight, hey, we don't normally do sports on TFR, but since it's March Madness starting tomorrow, if you got any March Madness thoughts, I'm listening. So I'm not going to give out the gems on TFR. Keep the gems for the Patreon community, but let people call in and weigh in on their thoughts. So, but yeah, man, that Baylor thought was interesting with the 6-0, but now that I see that Gonzaga can become 3-5 versus Illinois all time too. I mean, Gonzaga's 35 in the most Pierce cipher, just like Catholic, and when you flip it around, Perfect's 35. And Mark Few would get his 37th all time win. I mean, come on, man. So that is something else. But yeah, really great observations from the community. You guys are getting better and better. So I guess we're all just getting better at this. Let me plug in this note here. And if Gonzaga does beat Illinois in the championship, they will be 3-5 against them all time. Gonzaga's 35, Catholic's 35, Perfect is 35. A caller pointed out that if Gonzaga beat Baylor, they would be 6-0 against them all time. Indianapolis. That's interesting, but again, it's just not as perfect as the ritual with Illinois. The ritual with Illinois is so good. So, since we don't have any calls, you guys, here, I'll interact with the chat a little bit, and then, hey, where did my chat go? Oh, there it is. All right. How far away is the TFR show? Well, it starts in about 1 hour. It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And out here on the West Coast, it's almost 5, so it starts in a little more than an hour. Yeah, Arkansas lost in the championship in 95, and they won it in 94. 8 Central, Jeremy points out. Got to know your time zones. Dan says, Arkansas ain't making it past the weekend. We'll see. They got one of the most interesting matchups to start. Alaska, you just called in. I was going to take your call, but then you hung up after one ring on my end, so I didn't get a chance to answer it. If you want to call back, I will take your call. Austin, Texas, I saw you call in a bunch during the show. I'm not sure you made it through. I will hang out for a Austin, Texas, or an Alaska call because I have seen you guys call a few times. Well, again, Jalen Rose, who was on that Michigan team, and there's a lot of Michigan connections with what's going on, he said that it's going to be all chalk this year and all 1 seeds will make the Final Four. And again, the last and only time that happened, Bill Self won it with the Kansas Jayhawks in 2008. And Bill Self has the exact same birthday to the day of Mark Few. So could be some kind of weird Manchurian thing going on there. That was their 13th Final Four, and it's 13 years later. All right, hold on. Houston's also been calling in. What's up, Houston?
What's up, Zach?
Yeah.
I wasn't calling my fault. I wasn't calling about the tournament. I just called just some of my like crazy observations that I noticed.
Okay.
Okay, so I go to University of Houston and I was taking this exam, a chemistry exam, and like it's a random question. So literally, it was a 50-question exam. So literally, it could have been any question. Could be number 1, could be number 4, but it was question 31. Tell me why question 31 was the SI units to describe power are, and obviously the answer is watts. So it was literally the day after JJ Watt got traded. 31. Then I see a 31 on my exam. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It was just so crazy to me.
Life is
It
weird,
was
man.
so crazy to me. I'm like, bro, what the? And it was Watts was the first choice too. So like, I was like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. So.
It was so crazy. I had to take a picture of it and everything. I'm like, bro, why is this question 31? Like, this could have been any other number.
Right. Yeah, and you're down there in Houston. That is weird. So.
It's so weird. But yeah, Zach, it was crazy throughout the power outage and everything. I had power and everything, just didn't have no electricity for 2 days, but everything's fine now.
Well, glad you survived it. So, appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, you take care.
No problem, Zach. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too. See you. All right, we got Ohio. Ohio, what's up?
Hey, Zach. What's up? This is Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a statement. I didn't know if anybody was checking into, like, Russell Wilson and going to Chicago with the whole theme of Seattle and Illinois.
Yeah, they both got the 56th mayors. Bill Gates is building the high schools in Chicago.
Yeah, it was like one of his main locations that they're like leading that he may sign or get traded to.
Well, I know the Bears just got Andy Dalton. I mean, there's something up here that says Pete Carroll blocked Russell Wilson trade after massive Bears offer, but then there's a picture for the story with the Cowboys, and Dalton just went from the Cowboys to the Bears. I really do want to see Russell Wilson go to the Cowboys because then I know what the Super Bowl is for certain. So.
Right. Yeah, that's all I had, man. I was just wondering. I seen that Seattle, and when you mentioned something about Seattle and Chicago, I'm like, man, that would be crazy if Russell Wilson got traded like maybe a week before the finals or something like that. It would kind of give it a clue.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if he ends up going to Dallas because it'll be a done deal. We'll know why they were showing him all Super Bowl up in his press box, not looking too happy. He's got all the links with Mahomes.
Yeah, he looked really weird, man, sitting up in that press box.
Yeah, he did not look like he was enjoying himself. So.
All right, man, that's all I got.
All right, appreciate it. All right, that's the sign that we can wrap it up right there. I'm going into airplane mode, so if I missed your call, good news. We'll do another live stream tomorrow, or you can call into TFR tonight. But I think that's a solid stream for right now. Again, make sure you guys go over these notes. I'm going to continue to update them as I make observations. And just like you saw with some of the callers, they pointed out huge things that I overlooked. And it's not that I'm trying to miss things. It's just, you're doing all this decoding. You're trying to keep every number straight. It's easy to miss a thing here or there. So I encourage you to go over it with your own eyes. And just remember, you don't have to bet on every game in the tournament, but what you can do are take the best games, the most lucrative games, get creative with structuring your bets. And again, there are ways to turn a $5 bill into several $100s, and a lot of people do it in this community year after year. And again, that's the way I encourage people to bet. I don't think trying to make... I know there's people in this community who are making a living off gambling, and that's great. But again, never bet money you can't afford to lose. And I'm the kind of person where I hate losing. So if I lose, I don't want to lose a lot. So structure wise and small and try to earn big as many people do. That's my advice. And as for tomorrow's live stream, I'm not set on the exact time yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be around 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, when the final four are winding down, because that gives me all day to research and do notes, and then also pay attention a little bit to the games going on and see if I hear any clues. And then we'll reconvene for one last thing, and I'll fill out a bracket and take a picture of it too, just so you have that easy visual. So we'll do all that tomorrow night, and enjoy the rest of